You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Cling, cling, cling.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 421st edition of the Fallout Feed. We are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome everybody. I am Andrew, joined this evening by Ray. What's up, Ray?
Yeah, hello.
And also Jess. What's going on, Jess?
Hello, Jess here.
Tonight on the show, we will start off with our gameplay as per usual. Then we'll move on to a little community feedback from Far Harbor. We're nearing the end, wrap-up of Far Harbor here. So we'll hear from Clint, Eric, Jeff, Will, Green Dragon, Jen, Steve, and Swirl. So I've also got a game that we prepared here called Oppenheimer Time. And a little bit of iguana bits on our way out the door. So let's go ahead and roll right into it. Jess, have you got a chance to play any video games this week?
Yes, I have. I was actually, one thing I do when I'm saying, what did I do this week? I like to go, I'll check my Twitter timeline. I'll look at like my photo gallery folders because, see, this is how I remember things sometimes, okay? It's like when you go to a concert and you pull out your phone too much and people are like, did you even watch the concert? You were recording the whole thing. Well, sometimes my gameplay, I'm like, did I even play the game? Oh, wait, let me check my photos. But yeah, no, I got some Fallout 4 in for sure. So let's just start with that. Island Adventures. So last episode, I was behind. I mentioned that I got into the Children of Adam, but hadn't done anything with them yet. But the truth is, I hadn't done anywhere near as much on the island as I should have. So this week, I really crammed in some gameplay. And we were talking about how the Fallout 4, the Far Harbor quests are shorter, than we kind of remembered. Like there's not much to this main quest line itself in some ways. But I think it's because there's so much little side stuff, like not a lot of big side quests, but just locations and difficulty. So fully exploring the island takes a lot. Like those trappers, they're deadly. They are deadly, guys.
Absolutely. I had lots of trouble down at the lighthouse. Yeah.
The Grand Harbor Hotel is super maintenance there.
Oh my God.
Even just heading down there by like the MS Azalea and heading down the road, and there are a couple areas where there are trappers set up. And I mean, if you get the wrong trapper, like the grim ones, like you get one of the grim ones with like an automatic combat rifle, and he's there just like mowing you down, or like a Gauss rifle on some of them. They're tough. Anyway, survival mode, no joke. Far Harbor reminding me, like every time I started to get confident and saved less, I would learn. I am still crashing a teeny bit too, but not much. It's funny. So I found a couple specific places where I crash every time. There are always specific locations on the island, just like in the regular game, like certain buildings that are crashier. Like obviously people talk about certain spots downtown, has a bunch of them. It's like a minefield.
Really?
But like there's an area in Far Harbor right beside the Mother of the Fog shrine, that Children of Adam shrine after you do that quest.
I was just about to ask, is it a place that is dense with fog and all sorts of like little radiation stuff going on? What do you think that is? Is that a digital overload, a visual?
Most likely.
Overload?
I mean, usually crashes happen when it's trying to either load too many things, too many threads at once, keep track of too many items, or, if there's a conflict where one thing says do this, the other side says do this, and ultimately it just says, I give up, I'm not doing either, and crashes on you, right? Like that's how most mods work and other things. And, a lot of conflicts, one will overwrite the other, but there are some where it just results in a conflict.
You had enough trouble just getting to the island in the first place.
I sure did. Yeah, that alone was an adventure, and that's what put me a week behind, and then I caught up. But, for a lot of June, as, people know, I was just playing once a week, and that wasn't quite enough to catch up. So this week wasn't streaming at all, And so I got a couple good long nights of Fallout 4 in, got some great play. On my Island Adventures, what did I do? Well, I kind of, like I said, I went all up and down the coast, dying a lot. I did get to in Dalton Farm when I got up there, when I first finally went in and I'm like, oh, I'm going to build here. You get the thing with the two settlers where they have the quest where they're like, hey, there's a giant crab nearby. You hear about the giant crabs? Come on, they're loaded full of stuff. You should follow me. You know, that quest. Did you guys do that one?
I don't remember. Tell me about it.
Okay, so basically, when you are at Dalton Farm and you've got things set, the two settlers that are there, when you go back to it, because automatically gets two settlers, tell you about the giant crab. Well, it's all the way across the island down south. And the quest has been messing up for some people as far as how it works. My problem was that there's the hermit crab right nearby that's nice and close, but they want to run all the way across the island, and so it would either crash en route, or stuff would happen where settlers would die. And people in chat are saying, yeah, we ignored that one. Well, if you don't ignore it, it does ultimately put a note in your quest log, so you can enable it later. So what I did after failing a couple tries on the way down with, somebody dying or the game crashing, I said, no, I'm not going to worry about it. I killed the hermit crab nearby on the bridge that it would have made a lot more sense to me if they ran to. And when I eventually got down there after doing a bunch of other things, there was actually a huge glowing hermit crab in the area. So that was a fun fight. I did get that one done. But yeah, it was trying to make it work along the way. It took a while. What did I do? So Children of Adam, I did talk to the group at the temple, and I got the quest. We talked about the fog quest last week, and we're going to hear about it a lot, I think, from people's feedback today. Mm-hmm. Most likely, as they kind of slip that in with Dima's Blue Nightmare. I know we hit some last feedback. We'll hit some this week. That was really fun. I didn't crash at all for that. I had forgotten how great the vibes are on it, where while you're following the fog mother, like all the animals and creatures just kind of stare at you.
The gulpers are standing around looking at you.
They're like stretching, being adorable. You get the glowing rat stags running by. That was really cool. And then the fact that there are a couple guaranteed legendary ghouls at the shrine too. I enjoyed that bit.
Nice.
I got some great stuff from them. Of course, once again, this is where I was crashing just outside that. So I would basically complete the section and then crash. Oh. And I'm like, oh, that was a fluke. And then the second time I completed the section and crashed, I'm like, that wasn't a fluke. I need to make sure to save more often while I'm doing this.
Every time I drink from this irradiated waterfall, I crash.
It might have also been I was distracted by taking photos again because the island is so photogenic.
I think you probably talked about this earlier. Do you have a mod that you're using for photos, or do you just go in and turn down your HUD and stuff?
Yeah, so I do use the iHUD mod, Gopher's iHUD mod, which is basically allows you to hide your HUD with a couple button presses, and I even keep it on the quick action menu, which makes it easier. But while it will hide HUD elements, which is great, I feel like if you're looking at, say, your companion or, dog meat or an object, like that will still pop up with the, press A to interact or plus whatever. So it hides some things, and like quest markers are still there if you got like a floating quest marker near you. So most of the time it's not that hard, but it doesn't work for everything. But even before doing everything on the island, which I'm getting into with Children of Adam and stuff, I actually I did go back to the mainland. So I had Curie, because Curie's my romance, but Curie needs a body, and she's been stuck. We were talking last week, Ray. You mentioned how you hit a point where you just can't gain any more affinity with her, and that was completely the case. I think it was you who mentioned. It might have been Clint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you've got to get the body to take it to the next level.
Exactly. So she would keep liking and approving things, and I'm checking her affinity is not moving. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a real thing. Plus, maybe I'll go back to the mainland and get her the body and advance the quest. Well, I went back to the mainland and I did a few things with the railroad. Pam's giving me stuff and all that, but I didn't get far enough to unlock the doctor. So I went back to the mainland for two reasons. Advance the stuff with Curie, but also ammo, because despite my saying, I'm not running out of ammo, after a little bit of time on the island, I'm running out of ammo. Things there take so many bullets, especially if you're a 10mm player like me. So getting back to the mainland, yeah, exactly. Making the rounds to all the different locations and shops, I ended up getting about 550 10mm rounds to go back when I had been basically out. So I got a lot of ammo. which was good. But while I'm there, instead of getting Cure Your Body, because I'm like, oh, I've got a few too many steps to do that. I'm like, that's too much. I actually switched back to Deacon because Deacon is my assigned follower. And I was curious, like, will he say or do anything different? When we're there, with the fact that, he's involved with the railroad stuff. But so far, there hasn't been much commentary. I mean, there's been some commentary from him, but not much that's specific about railroad and or Sense and the Far Harbor DLC, you know? So I'm hoping he has something along the way. But I did him instead of Nick because I thought that was interesting. And let's see. So anyway, we did all that back there. Oh, also while I was back at the railroad, I met Boxer. Boxer is a railroad agent who is the one that if you talk to them about Acadia and Far Harbor, they're going to want to go there. So just like all the other factions, the railroad has one too, where you can report in. And yeah, Boxer's like, hey, I've heard this rumor, blah, blah. Is that true? And you can tell him all kinds of things. So yeah, Boxer is now out at Acadia as kind of a railroad liaison, trying to establish a bit of an underground, well, obviously railroad, but to Acadia now. And what's interesting about that is it may provide a path to them to not have to do the mind wipes in the same way, because Dima's disapproving, and if the railroad has a place to send Sense, it might work. So they're working that out. But anyway, back to the island adventures. So did the Children of Adam, got through all that. But while I was over there, I'm like, what I'm going to do is actually explore this whole left side of the island, because I did the right side of the island and then ran out of ammo. So this time I did the left side, and it was actually really fun. Haddock Cove. Did you guys do all the Haddock Cove exploration?
You have to remind me.
I just discovered the location, and that was enough.
Okay. Yeah, it's a cool location. I like the way they built up over the water, but it's got a great story. If you listen to all the holotapes, are really, it's just talking about kind of this group of guys who consider themselves a family, and the boss guy wants to build out on the water where they'll be safe. And it's got this funny dynamic. It's fun. And ultimately, they end up being killed by the Mirelurks from underneath. Like, they're all obsessed with watching the shore, building tall where they can see anything coming, and then the Mirelurks come from below. And, spoiler alert, they die like everybody else. So I did all that, and then I went down to the lighthouse. And that was a tough-ass fight. But we did make it through. I found Deacon is better for me than Curie, for sure, at least in her robot body. Deacon's been much tougher. I gave him a legendary 10 millimeter, so he can shoot as fast as I can. And also I'm giving him plasma grenades. And that's been a really good time. He just starts shouting stuff and firing the hole and throws a big old plasma grenade, and it really got me out of some tight situations. Also, my boy, the Notorious B.I.G., is by the way, great mod. If you guys haven't used it yet, I got a couple of joke mods installed just because lighten the mood. But yeah, instead of Mysterious Stranger, it's Notorious B.I.G., and it's hilarious. He pops in, singing some rap music, shoots stuff down. I know Clint said he didn't love it, but yeah, it cracks me up every time.
Yeah.
You can dance along.
Pip-Boy Steve brought my attention to that one a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. But doing that lighthouse, while it's tough, is a pretty cool quest. It's well worth it. I love the lighthouse model, of course, similar to the one we have in 76. So that was kind of cool. But the way they got the boat up and down on the side, like, there's some great views. I really like the vibe of the place. Also, the fact that you can find a holotape there from someone that she sent before who died on the way, and he's all like skeptical and talking to himself. When you go back to Far Harbor and turn that in to Cassie Dalton and say, hey, I finally finished this. And she's like, that's wonderful. Finally, we can rest easy. I never thought I'd see the day that, my family's at peace. And if you mention you found this tape about someone who thought some of your story was maybe untrue or exaggerated, like an island native, and she starts to say, well, it's mostly true. Like, there might have been some exaggeration, but the root of the story is true. It's like you kind of call it out, and you can actually get a whole new glimpse. Like, she did make some of it up, and it is kind of her little V.C. Andrews piece where she's spinning this yarn for you. It's all like lurid and sordid, and like about her family and the history. But then she kind of wraps up saying, "But hey, now you know the island. The island knows you. It's not going to think you're some mainlander." Like, you get kind of the logic behind it. Like, I thought that was really interesting. Then you get a cool weapon from her. Did you guys finish the Cassie Dalton quest, and did you get that blood render or blood ripper weapon?
Yeah, the fish hook.
Mm-hmm. Does it do 2,700 damage on yours?
2,700. Good fucking Lord.
So I don't know if it's my uniques mod, But yeah, so I got all my regular weapons and I pull this up and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to sell this. It's only worth like, 200 caps, blah, blah, blah. Then I look at the damage and I'm like, it says 2777. Like, is that correct? So I haven't even used it yet.
Yikes.
But that's huge.
You could take down
So,
a fog
yeah.
crawler in one swing.
You would think so. I don't know. So I got to actually try it, but I thought that was neat. So let's see. So I did that. I cleaned that out. I did the giant crab. Hermit crabs in this game are no joke. I mean, everything in this game in Far Harbor in survival mode is no joke. And it reminds me that things that are such a breeze in 76, your gulpers, your anglers. Oh, by the way, like the albino anglers and the little thing is so cool. I do love that. Like that mystery of Far Harbor over there where you just see like the little light and you don't know if it's like lure weed or if it's an angler is awesome. But everything is tougher, fog crawlers, but especially those hermit buses. Like a crab bus shows up in 76. You're like, it's just a crab bus, whatever. A crab bus here, I must have gone through 40, 50 bullets minimum. You know what I mean? You're running, you're trying not to die. You're running away, catching AP, jumping on high things. It's a great fight. And then the way it throws the little crab hatchlings at you. Have you guys fought any crab buses yet this playthrough?
No.
I did the one right next to the lumber yard.
Okay, so the one next to the lumberyard is a little bit less difficult than the one down bottom for that quest, but it's still no joke. And it pauses every 30% damage or something. I don't know the exact amount, and sends a bunch of little hatchlings at you, and the little red hatchlings that are coming at like, and attacking you, and it's hilarious. I'm just like, am I going to get the whoopsies? It's great.
I was gonna say, is it the same little hatchlings from the queen?
Yeah, except that at least on my screen, it might be mod related. They're red instead of green. But it's funny. And then the crab bus, the crab hunkers down, so you can't really hurt it. Hides in its shell while they're doing that. And it recharges a little bit. Like I just thought that was really cool. So really,
the bloodletter's base damage is 30.
Yeah, I think it's your mod.
Is something wrong with my bloodletter. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't
and
tried.
then 25 points of bleed damage.
Wow.
It's got the plus 25 bleed damage. I looked at that. I'm like, plus 25 bleed damage on a 2777 weapon. So yeah, there's something corrupted on mine. I'm gonna have to figure out that. I need to try using it and see if it actually works. That.
Oh man.
Maybe it's 27.77 damage.
It doesn't usually show that. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
You sell your legendary items. I have every single legendary item I've gotten so far, either on a settler or stored in a workshop. You sell those?
Definitely. I mean, 70-60 desensitized me to legendaries a bit, but then with Fallout 4, I'm like, okay, I'm back on the legendary train. They're valuable again. But you get so many more legendary enemies in survival mode in general that I feel like I'm getting too many, and you can't scrap them. So if it's not a weapon I'm getting used or not a piece of armor I need, I'm selling it. Yeah.
Yeah. I still can't. I'm stuck on that. Oh, it's a legendary. It's got to be useful somewhere to someone at some point. But I bet you I've got 100 stored in a workbench somewhere.
I'm giving some to companions. I found that really useful. Like with legendary weapons on the weapon side, if it's something that can allow your companions to shoot faster or give them a real advantage, then that's worth doing because the game does seem to calculate that for them.
Cat meat won't receive weapons for me. Too bad.
Oh man, laser cats. Totally picture it.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be great. But yeah, so I mean, I did all that, and of course, then I did get into the Children of Adam, and caught up a bit with us. I have not gone all the way through Demon's Blue Nightmare yet. I knew that was kind of my goal, but I did get through the Children of Adam stuff. I did a few quests for them with Sister Gwyneth and figured things out. But I got back into the area to get to the Blue Nightmare, got all through. Man, those assaultrons in there, we're going to hear tonight from other people, I'm sure.
Rough.
But those assaultrons are no freaking joke. The one in the tunnels and then the one in back. Are they always legendary dominatrix assaultrons?
I think the one at the end is.
Both of mine were legendary. I had a legendary dominatrix in the hallway, and I put her down using the legs, stuff like that. But then the legendary dominatrix by the computer itself, where you have to, turn the power, they pop out. That woman, she mowed me down like 5 times before I finally got her, because she comes out, and as soon as she comes out, she turns invisible. So it's like fighting the invisible girl, you can't even get any VATS on her. And of course, I'm a complete VATS build. Like that is my build, using Deliverer or Laser, a ton of VATS and, running and getting my EP back and then VATSing them to death. Well, you can't VATS and you just pling, pling, pling. And she just laughed. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, if she had a voice, she would have laughed. So it took a
Yeah,
while.
pulse mines help you there, because that'll knock her out of invisibility.
See, I did think of
and they
that.
don't hurt you.
That's perfect. I thought of it the second or third run. I'm like, oh, mines. Then I realized I had sold them earlier. Like I did have a couple mines. I mean, I sold them all. It's not my brightest move. But ultimately, because I do have two companions, Dogme and Deacon, they slowed her down enough that I managed to plink enough that she became visible and took care of her. But yeah, that took a while. And then I got into Demon's Blue Nightmare. And that's where I'm like, okay, I did it. Finally, I'm saving. So yeah, I got to play a good bit of Fallout 4 this week. It was great to get back in because the first month playing so much, and then for the last half of June, it was only once a week, and that's not enough in survival to really keep up. You need to play more.
Yeah, if you have to die and reload, right?
You have to reload so many times.
Yep, and getting anywhere just takes a lot of effort. And I mean, in the Commonwealth itself at this point, now that we're higher level, I'm about 52 now, I think. So I am getting some good levels from like I was 45 or 6 last week, 52. But so you can run across without attracting too many enemies, and the ones you do, you can kill pretty quickly. But in Far Harbor, no, you're going to get yourself in trouble if you run into some trappers and such. So that was my Fallout 4 play. Fallout 76, I just wanted to mention. We've talked about mod packs and different things, and a lot of our friends doing such Fallout, but you had mentioned one, Ray, called Storyville.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's a really popular mod collection that has a lot of different, it's maybe the biggest, one of the biggest mod packs, right? And so many story things, but there are a lot of UI stuff too. So I got to actually watch someone playing Storyville for a couple hours this week. A friend was going to play on Twitch with it. So I watched them. The interface changes, the musical changes, the different sound cues. Storyville is like a different game. It felt like they were playing Cyberpunk in
yeah, it's dramatically
76.
different. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I really like the vibe. For people checking out things, if you do check that one out, like the way the music would change, like the actual in-game music, you go into different buildings and it would change the music based on the building you're in. You go to the Institute and it's like this really excellent trance. And like everything is super glowy, and it really was Cyberpunk. It was like what I expect the city of Neon to be. And then the interface too. I don't know if it's the default interface or they did something special, but even the interface was different. It had like hexagons and just really different. So that was cool. And then Scoreboard, I didn't make a lot of progress on 76 this week. Kind of have to choose one or the other. And I got at least once, probably Saturday or Sunday, got in, finished my weeklies for 76 and stuff. I'm high 20s now. I don't think I'm ranked 30 yet. I'm probably like ranked 28 or 29. So it's a little bit low for hitting the third week, but not too low.
Nice.
And yeah, I did a few more events. I'm still liking the new events. Oh, I do. Well, we'll talk about PTS notes later, but we did actually get some real PTS notes, which was nice.
Cool.
So we know what's actually coming finally. But that's it for my gameplay.
Really good. You mentioned crabs.
So many crabs.
That's just gonna bounce that off of my gameplay with the dailies. Good lord. But Ray, did you get a chance to play any video games this week, sir?
I did, and probably would have been better off if I hadn't.
Oh no!
So
What
No
happened?
Man's Sky, I was doing some testing of some ideas I had about farming nanites and stuff, and I should have a episode out here pretty quick, either tomorrow or Sunday, and so I was continuing my testing and really kind of was desensitized to the fact that I was playing on a permadeath character with about 52 hours of game time on it.
This is ominous.
Screwed around and died.
And that's a setting you establish before you start, and it'll just kill the character. And so it's not just oh, this is a permadeath challenge for us, and like, oh, you have to be honest, but it's actually it kills your game and erases the file.
Erases the save.
Jesus
Yep.
Christ.
Oh, that's so harsh.
So that moment of realization, I mean, I just wasn't paying attention to my health bar at all, and got wiped. So
Don't you set up like a test character for testing when you're testing stuff that you're not aware of? Like that seems like a little important to just be fucking around on a 52-hour permadeath character that when the save file is literally deleted if you die.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's so easy to forget that you're on permadeath and become desensitized to it. That because at some point in a permadeath run, you're pretty tough, and so you're very rarely ever thinking about the chance of dying. And so I was focused on doing something different and didn't pay attention and paid for it dearly.
Are there other difficulty levels in No Man's Sky like Fallout? Is there like easy to very hard
there's
stuff?
Like 10 times more than Fallout.
So,
you can go in and change all the different settings. So your economy, your enemies, your resource gathering, it's all adjustable.
But permadeath isn't in that ranking; it's just a separate setting. So you could be on very easy and permadeath.
Yeah, so you could turn all of the settings to easy, except for the fact that it erases the save if you die.
Oh Lord!
Because that's technically the permadeath. Now, when I do permadeath, I turn everything up to the maximum to make it as absolutely hard as possible.
He's a masochist.
And play that way because it just makes it more challenging. But after a while, you just forget about it.
You just sort of forget, and then you're testing some farming of stuff, mining of some, and then you die.
Yep.
So what killed you?
It's all gone.
You didn't just fall off a cliff or something, did you?
Started up a new one and have been, blasting away. So that ate up a lot of game time. Was trying to get back, what I had lost in that. So I'm getting there. I finally got my good ship tonight.
Lollipop.
So
yeah, exactly.
I'm on my way. Yep, it looks like a lollipop too.
Nice.
Kind of red, has a stick. And
beautiful.
So also still messing around with different stuff for the Skyrimatic podcast, and went wanted to try out the level 20 PTS test character. And it's a lot like it's a lot like in Fallout 4 or Skyrim, on PC, where you go in and start off at a higher level than normal. You just don't have the stuff. They give you a nice, so I did a shotgun build because I don't typically do shotgun builds. So, they give you a nice pump action shotgun and, some leather armor and, a few doodads, couple of hundred, shotgun shells. But then, so you're level 20 and you look at your perk cards and you only have enough perk cards to cover, the levels that that you're at. And so, by the time you're at level 20, you've got all kinds of different perk cards. that you're not using. You've got a lot of variety of stuff. And so, that is, that's substantial. For one thing, if you start off at level 20 and you don't have any cards to trade in for, for legendary cards.
So what I heard, oh, sorry, one second. What I heard was that when you level up from level 20 to 21, you get all the perk cards that you should have gotten up until that point. So you have to hit a level point and then they drop them all on you.
Oh, so they will give. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So all the perk card packs that you would have gotten
up to that point, yes, that's what I have heard, but I haven't actually done it myself.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get to play it to the point where I actually leveled up. The server shut down again on me, so I didn't get to play it additionally. I've been spending some time in Far Harbor, doing the little side things here and there that I've missed out on. So I ran into Agent Boxer in Acadia. I went and gathered up the marine armor and discovered that with armor 4, I can make it ultralight.
Oh,
so
nice.
I dramatically reduced the weight of my armor. So I've at least somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 pounds.
Oh, that would make a huge difference because, I mean, as we all know, the weight limit is real tough, and lone wanderer, doesn't work when you've got a companion with you. And I'm making up for it, a couple levels of strong back, but that really helps.
Yeah. So I did Jules' quest. So you start that off by talking to, what's the mechanic's name? Shoot, now I can't think of his name. He's in the mechanic's jumpsuit, standing just inside the door, and
sure, somebody's screaming at their phone because I don't remember either.
Yeah, and so you talk to him, and that gets it started. He'll talk to you about something weird going on with Jewel, and then he'll take you down to get her to talk to you, and she tells you about it, and then she gives you the key, and you go off. I went back and talked to him. I didn't talk to Jewel. If you talk to her and tell her about it, then she gives you an unyielding piece of synth armor. If you talk to him, you get a crippling sledgehammer.
Oh, wow. Unyielding synth armor is significantly better, I would think, than the sledgehammer.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. It depends on how you're going. I had just fixed up my marine armor, and it was substantially better than the synth armor.
Is that Dejen? Is that his name, like Dejen?
No, it's a short name, like
Cog.
Cog, that's the one.
Okay. Yep.
So that one, when you read the note and then go read the terminal, you discover that she was involved in a really bad accident, and it had caused her some cognitive issues, along with some serious damage. And Faraday decided at that point the only way to save her was to wipe her mind.
So this is that box down at the southern shore.
Yeah, where you go get the disk drives.
Mm-hmm. I ran past that location again the other day, and I was like, God damn it, I forgot to talk to Jules. Fuck.
Yeah. And I got Adam's Judgment, and uh, to kind of appease Curry's opinion of the situation, even though she wasn't there. I sent the heretic packing, told her to get off the island and never come back.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Where does she go after that? If you follow her,
Never
she just
went to
she
sea.
just blips out of existence. I bet.
I don't know if she's at the sinkhole up by Kingsport, or if
That'd be
she's
hilarious if she showed up
crater.
over there, because
Yeah.
they absolutely have nothing to do with each other. This Children of Adam must be a loosely
Well, entirely separate factions
Yeah,
there in
because
the actual
in
registry.
the
Yeah.
glowing sea they're totally fine, but they attack you on sight at the Kingsport lighthouse, and then on the island they'll welcome you in wholeheartedly. So those are three different interactions that you have with them.
Different
so.
groups. I mean, it's kind of like different raider groups you can have different affinities with too. Not in Fallout 4 as much, but in the other games. So I'm glad they kind of brought that into 4. Deacon was good with the dismissal of Island too. That is one thing I have to say is that he doesn't, and I'm sure a lot of the other characters don't really like you playing along with the Children of Adam. Anytime I agree with the zealots and help them out or whatever, he's pretty much against that. There, you can make up for it with other other comments along the way. But it's been interesting to see, and I keep forgetting that my faction is technically Children of Adam for this playthrough on Far Harbor.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to walk that line. Like, I'm like, well, can I play it in such a way that I take the path where I replace Tectus because he's such an ass and I hate him? And then, but then I still work with them and become part of them. Like, maybe I can, role play it that way.
Well, there's definitely enough people in the submarine to be sympathetic with, yet there's also those who don't love Tectus. So it seems like story-wise you could absolutely replace Tectus and still be a fan of the Children of Adam.
That's kind of how I'm playing it. I don't know if that's necessarily the spirit of it. Like, I should probably destroy the Harbormen. Maybe I will. Maybe I will, but I don't really want to. But yeah, but I am going to do everything with the children and just try to kind of fulfill that role with them there.
Was it Kimberly who was asking about the Children of Adam mod to try to make the ones on the mainland friendly?
Yeah, so right. Yeah, that was Kim. She's doing a children playthrough right now with the character. And she was talking about how at the Crater Village they will attack you on sight. And we found some mods on PC, but nothing that was universal for Xbox yet that will, expand the children faction, or at least make them recognize, that you're part of the group.
It's like, hello, I've got the face tattoos. Don't you recognize me?
Yeah. Like the rags are glowing. Like, I've got the green glowing rags. Everything's good. I've got radium rifles.
I've got the spaghetti colander on my chest.
Exactly. Recognize me. But no.
Yeah. Did I cut you off, Ray? What were you getting into there?
No, the last thing I did was I did Ware's Quest.
He gives you the brew or something, right?
Yeah.
Which
is, reasonably useless for me.
Yeah.
But,
because of your...
I was able to convince the guy that
mysterious
that
serum.
I was the vision he was waiting to hear from.
So you got to put on the hood and increase your radiation.
No, I just had enough charisma to do it straight up.
Okay.
I did a funny voice. It's the acting on that is exceedingly dramatic.
Is it like
in the reading of those lines?
It's like I just blanked on the silver shroud with the little radiation twist to it.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. I mean, the brew seems pretty good though, getting rid of the radiation like that.
Yeah, why is it useless to you? Because of your mysterious serum stuff?
Yeah, mysterious serum takes care of that, and it only gives you a chance to catch a disease. This one has like a couple of different things that it opens you up to.
Oh, the brew has negative signs.
Yeah.
So your mysterious serum is from the whole Cabot House stuff, right? With
yeah,
not Lazarus. What's his name?
He's eating that Cabot cheddar, Lorenzo.
Lorenzo,
Lorenzo.
right?
Yeah.
You have an infinite amount of that stuff? Because if I remember right, you could only get so much, or you had to keep checking back with Jack or something, or
Well, you keep going back to Lorenzo
to Lorenzo.
whenever you've used up your serum.
But isn't he just
tapped those
wandering
veins.
around the wasteland aimlessly now? Where do you find him?
At Cabot House.
He's stationed there? I thought if you saved him,
Well,
he's
you
just
can
wandering around.
find him there if he goes back if you need some.
Oh, if you show up, you're just
Yeah.
like need some serum.
I've
he's just
never used
magically
up
there.
the initial supply before.
How many are there? 8?
I
5?
I got 9.
9? Wow.
So I've never needed more than that.
I don't.
This
About-
one's getting kind of dicey. I think I'm down to 4.
About how many hours? I mean, this is totally random here, and I didn't ask how people look at their save files. I had thought about it, but about how many hours would you guys say you put into this playthrough? Like, if your save file says how many days, and what do you got? What are you at?
I'm at 3 days, 8 hours now.
Okay, you're only 3 days, 8 hours. Now, of course, that's with every time you die, you lose
Yeah,
time.
you
Every
lose
time
time
you
every
restart to
reload,
get
yeah.
get your idiot savant.
But what is that?
You-
What's 3 times 24 is 72 plus 80. So I'm 80
Yeah,
80
you're probably
hours in deep. Wow.
85 hours. Yeah, I thought you would have been longer than that. That's what it surprises me. How about you, Ray? Do you have any idea?
I'm 2 and some change.
Okay, and I'm about 4 days, 2 hours. So I'm not a whole lot ahead, but I figured Andrew was going to be way ahead of me, being like level 80 or something, and I'm only level 50 something.
Well, that's the idiot savant proc thing right there.
Yeah,
that's the
I know that's
difference.
part of it, but also you were just, you get in deep and you do the thing where you wander everywhere, you find all the locations on the outside of the map and stuff like that. And I haven't done it this playthrough, so
Mhm.
I guess I'm glad to know that I am keeping up time-wise with you guys for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I'm at about 100 hours. We're really close to it.
Nice.
Yeah. And since I finished up the the running around for the Children of Adam, I don't expect I'll need to use many more. Although it is pretty handy if you know you're going to be getting a lot of loot
hmm
because it's +5 strength.
Oh, nice. Is that plus 50 carry weight then? How does strength relate to carry weight?
I don't remember. So, yeah, I think it's about 10 per.
Have you done the main
Because
quest?
when I put on my military fatigues, which has +2 strength, I get 20 extra carry weight.
Okay, that makes sense. Have you done the main quest? I assume you've done it in the past with Mysterious Serum. Can you just pop one and then get all the way? Is it rad resistance or rad removal or both?
Rad removal
Does
Over
it
time.
provide? Does it provide any
over time.
but no resistance?
No.
Okay, so it's not like you
But
pop
get
one
huge
and go
damage resistance and the +5 strength.
So
yeah,
you-
and
it's
Andrew,
not
think of it
Rad-X.
this way, kind of like the what rads perk. If you're getting like minus a whole bunch of rads all the time, so when the game tries to feed them to you, you're at the same time removing them.
removing it. Yeah.
Yep, because
Yeah.
it doesn't stop the removal.
But my question
so
was going to
if
be.
I pop it before I enter the glowing sea,
That was my question.
I can go all the way to Virgil with 0 rads.
So it's constantly removing them as you're gaining them.
Yeah.
And the glowing sea, I always remembered it being this, oh my god, so much radiate, but it's only like 2 or 3 clicks at a time unless you get to a pool
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
Compared to a nuke zone, it's nothing.
The fog is exactly as bad, if not worse, than the glowing sea. It's just not as constant because there's pockets of fog, whereas the radiation, the base radiation in the glowing sea is all over the place, but the fog, there seems to be more pockets of it, but the fog seems to give me 4 or 5 ticks, where the glowing
Yep.
sea is only 2 or 3.
I've had a lot more rad storms on Far Harbor too, which I assume that's the universal experience. Since I'm running a weather mod, I'm not sure, but I keep getting rad storms. Right, I'm pulling a whole lot of radiation. If I don't pay
think
attention
that's a
every
lot of the
30 minutes,
weather-
I'm
that's
down
the
to
weather
like
mod.
half. Okay.
I've been beginning
Yeah,
to.
because it is pervasive. I'm almost constantly in one form or another of a rad storm.
I don't have a weather mod loaded, but I'm beginning to think that there's a connection between fast travel resetting a cell and rad storms, because almost every time I travel, and I can only do it to settlements, so each time I travel to a settlement, it seems like it resets and I wake up in a rad storm. But if I leave the cell and run away, I almost never have inclement weather, but every time I fast travel to a new settlement, it's almost always another rad storm. So I'm beginning to think that there might be some weird connection between resetting cells and weather at the same time. But
There might
I'm
be,
not
especially in Far Harbor. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and I found the best way to keep it from raining is to have fog crawler meat.
Is to bring your umbrella. That's how you keep it from
Because
raining.
if you eat fog crawler meat, then you get a big damage resistance buff if it's raining or foggy. And so if
Oh.
you take that, then it won't rain at all.
That's
and
exactly
won't
like
be
bringing
foggy.
your umbrella.
It'll
That's
only
awesome.
be clear, sunny, fabulous weather.
That is the same principle. That's hilarious. Good job. All right. Ray, you said that was all your gameplay, basically.
Yeah.
So I haven't been on the island very much. I was so excited last week that we're finally to the point where the Brotherhood is going to give a damn about all of my my reconnaissance information that I'm bringing back to them. And I went to Captain Lancer Kells or whatever his name is, and he's still like, well, keep an eye on that situation. Tell us. I'm like, there is no more information, dickweed. This is it. This is the info. I'm at the last stages of the goddamn island here. I don't know what else you want me to tell you, dude.
You haven't seen any Brotherhood on the island ready to attack or anything?
No, not a one. Occasionally when I'm on the mainland, I'll see a random knight walking out around, and he'll be like, hello, knight, and I'll be like, hi, knight, how's it going? But I just got the grenades that you can throw to summon a vertibird, and I haven't thrown one on the island yet. I want to throw one on the island just to see if they'll show up, because I think that'd be fun. But I still can't rat out Acadia to the Brotherhood. Like I want Captain Kells to be like, all right, that's the ticket. Let's go get him, guys. But I don't know if that'll actually ever happen. So that's anyway. I've been off the island mainly this week, and I went back to the mainland and was trying to run through a lot of the Brotherhood stuff. So Lancer Kells tells me to keep an eye on it. Then I make my way to the back of the ship. I haven't really explored much of the ship, so I did all the see Proctor this guy, see this person, see that person, and all that. And I wanted to say Procter Gamble, but that's not a Brotherhood. That's a company of some sort.
The Tide of War.
There's one guy who wants you to collect data, like you find data and like little technical data, I think it's called, and you find those in different containers. They'll start spawning now all over the place, and you bring back those to him. He's the guy with the cat. There's the doctor guy. You go see him, and then the guy in the back, the weapons dealer. I found out if I'm sort of exploring his conversation wheel, he wants you to go to all the farms across the wasteland and tell them, oh, your donation, finger air quotes, of all of your of your rations are much appreciated by the Brotherhood under threat of annihilation. Basically you're going to these farms and telling them you will donate a large portion of your food or else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're setting up a protection racket.
Yeah. It is shaking people down. It is really weird. It feels very gangstery. You're right. So I've been going around to the farms and doing that and feeling really bad about it. And then I've discovered I'm really surprised how many farms that I still haven't discovered. I thought like, oh, I've got all the settlements opened up on them. But no, I opened up like 5 more that just happened to be farms that I didn't know. So I've been going to, shake down these poor farmers for the Brotherhood, and I forget who I talked to, but I was assigned a squire. And I'm like, who's this person? So And then I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'll do your quest later. And then I fast traveled out and went and started doing stuff. And I noticed there's a little Brotherhood kid following me around. What's going on here? So like it's like, oh, I'm supposed to train you or something, right? And then I was like, wait a second. I might have just gained another permanent follower that I can't lose. Let me check this out. So I fast traveled all around the mainland. I fast traveled to the island. I ran around the island and back to the mainland. And the Squire goes with me everywhere. And I hadn't known about this because I never play the Brotherhood. But, I got another Travis. I got another Billy.
Wow.
The Squire doesn't fight. They don't have any weapons. You can't drop weapons to them or anything like that. But they'll follow you around just like Billy does. But the Squire will go inside with you. Billy always stays outside if you go into an interior cell. But the little Squire kid follows you around and says, "Oh, so inappropriate." I went to the railroad, and he was like, I don't see why people are opposed to wiping out all these abominations. Like he says all sorts of like horrible things about
parroting the propaganda
about synth
oh my
people,
gosh.
And like right in the worst times, of course. Like he says it when we go to a super mutant battle. I can understand him saying that out loud, but like we're standing talking to the doctor in at the railroad. I'm getting healed up and stuff, and he's like, let's wipe out synths. Fuck these guys, and it's just like really funny. I'm like, oh, this is really nice. But if you remember, I was at the railroad a couple episodes ago, and I still haven't been to this day. Haven't been to Good Neighbor yet. But at the railroad, what's the leader's name? I forgot her name. Desdemona said something about, you need to go see Dr. Amari. Oh, but you know her already. It's like, no, I don't. I haven't been there yet.
And you didn't. Mm-hmm.
I just got that same speech from Maxon at the Brotherhood. He also said something like, I don't know what else we can do. We need to find a new direction. You need to see Dr. Amari at Good Neighbor, but you already know her. And I was like, no, I don't. So it's weird that they have that built into both the Railroad and the Brotherhood, that you need to go see Dr. Amari to continue the main quest.
You can almost understand why, because you're going to have the Brotherhood arrive and hit this point in the game as soon as you leave Fort Hagen. And the very next quest is, how do we decode this? What do we find, basically? And you end up going, bringing the brain parts to Dr. Amari. So, you're right on the edge of it, but I guess not. Also, I think it's Proctor Quinlan who gives you the scribe.
Quinlan, not Proctor Gamble.
Hilarious. No, it's not Proctor Gamble. Oh, he's gambling with the Squire's life, letting you mentor them.
Oh, goodness sakes. So yeah, that's what I've been doing around the mainland, running around with the Brotherhood, taking over farms, teaching the Squire the importance of shaking down poor farmers and stuff. But in 76, I've been just basically doing the dailies. But it's been so much. Jess, you were mentioning crabs earlier. It's just been so much crab work in the dailies. It's like cripple crab arms, kill 10 Mirelurks, take a picture of a Mirelurk hunter, take a picture of a Mirelurk. It's like the last time I talked to someone so much about crabs, I was at a doctor getting my pubes shaved. It's just like, this is the worst. So much crab work in these dailies. It's crazy.
It's because they know that you're still pissed about those 3 Mirelurks you used to always get going away 2 years ago. Yep. And so they just want to help you learn where the other locations are.
The last couple things I wanted to mention here are, I was boasting last week about, I still have never used a reroll on my dailies. I don't do that. Well, this week I was like, let's try out these reroll things people are always talking about. And I rerolled a daily ops because I was just like, I don't want to do the daily ops today. And I was fully expecting it to come up with another daily ops just with different settings. But that's not how it's set up. It totally removed the daily ops, and it was like, cook 3 meat-based meals. And I was like, are you goddamn serious? That is way better than going into a daily ops. And it was also... I found on because this week has been the alien invaders, the space invaders. the daily one of complete the quest. It's not called Space Invaders. What is the quest, the event called? I don't remember. The event with the aliens. Anyway, you go to destroy the beacons, and Captain Zeta is beaming down, and you go destroy that. all that. I found
Lieutenant Cap is my fave. Absolutely.
I couldn't re-roll that on the daily, but on the weekly, it's like complete that event 5 times. I'm like, fuck that. So I tried to re-roll, and it let me re-roll that, and it was just like complete 3 events in the ash heap, and I was like, that is way easier than that. So I had to do the daily one every day. It wouldn't let me re-roll that, but it would let me re-roll the weekly one, which I was like, oh, that's fucking sweet. So I don't think I'm ever going to do a daily ops ever again.
I'm glad you're finally using the rerolls. Yeah, they're useful.
You get 2 free every day, I noticed, but then also right next to it, I have like 27 premium re-rollers. It's not called re-rolls, it's the re-rollers. What are the premium re-rollers? What does that mean, and what does that give you?
They're the same thing. They're just ones they're just premium. I mean, like, what do you mean? Oh, right. Okay, so you get a couple free ones. You're being Fallout first, you're getting those regular ones as just base level. The premium ones are the ones you got from the scoreboard, or if you wanted to buy with atoms, you bought with atoms, which you didn't. But they build up over time, so you just got a whole bunch.
Oh, so I can just burn through those as well. Fucking sweet. All right, I just didn't know if it was like...
But once they're gone, they're gone.
And Clint mentioned with the re-rolls that, sometimes you get one of those super boosted ones that I was like, what do you... That's just because I hadn't ever done it before, so I didn't know what he was talking about. But sometimes if you re-roll, it gives it a special tag where you get double score for whatever re-roll you did. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. So like a couple of times when you re-roll it, it gives you a super... and it's always easier than the one you're re-rolling, because it's always like the stupid daily ops that I don't want to do.
Yeah, the epic. Clint mentions there too.
Epic,
yep.
Yes.
It's great, because if you get like 250 or 300 for regular, you might get 420 for an epic or so, and it's great.
Y'all.
And you get an epic with a double, even better. It's awesome.
But I still haven't used any score boost, those things yet. For some reason, I'm saving those for the last quarter, when it becomes a real slog.
Whenever you're going to be working on weeklies and stuff, just pop it. It lasts 24 hours. You can cram a bunch in.
I'm also trying to take your advice from last week and start it on a day when I'm doing my dailies in the evening time, and then when I know I'll be doing it at noon the next day, so that I know it'll count for a double dose.
That's exactly what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to hop from 29, hopefully up to like 40, just in one weekend with the weeklies and those doubles. Yeah.
So I'm trying to space that out and not use them until that situation occurs. You know what I mean?
So have you done Invaders from Beyond a bunch? I think that's the name of the event.
Invaders from Beyond. Right. Yes.
Yep. Have you done it a bunch this time, or not so much yet?
Well, it just so happens that I've luckily caught the tail end. I'll log in at like 5:05 this evening, and I was like, crap, I'm gonna miss it. And then I show up to the event, and it's like, Captain Zeta's beaming. I'm like, yes, and I walk into the event, and it's like, completed, good job, and it gives you all the rewards. I'm like, sweet.
You don't want to be that guy, but it's kind of nice to be that guy sometimes.
And I had to be that. And speaking of that guy, I did it once I was doing my dailies on my lunch break this week, and because I have the little connect to your phone and the connector device to controller. Everyone get one of those if you haven't already. If you like to play remotely, it works really well. I love it. But it was like, shit. It's I'm out of time on lunch break. Got to clock back in, go back to work. But I still haven't done the Invaders. I'm just gonna leave my character here, doing a dance move on top of this spire.
Perfect.
And I'll check it later. And I come home and I look at it, and it shows it as completed. So it's like, yes, it must have spawned at the right location. And I was just that douchebag who was dancing up on top of the building when everyone else was earning credit for me. So thanks, guys.
That's like my friend Renee just shared a little clip. She's like, how I public event. She's there just eating the popcorn with the new popcorn emote. Everybody's doing all the work. It's great.
So thank you, everyone, for your hard work. Much appreciated. Yeah, that was my gameplay for this week. Mainly lots of Brotherhood stuff. Still trying to get them to acknowledge the dangers of Acadia and those horrible synths.
So I looked it up again.
Yes.
If Captain Kells doesn't talk to you after, during this whole progression here, he's supposed to talk to Elder Maxon, and then next time we talk to him, he's going to have an update. Their response, and it's called Search and Destroy, should pop up when you start the quest The Way Life Should Be, which is one of the wrap-up quests at the end.
Yeah, I haven't done it because I walked into the what's it called? The
Grand Harbor Hotel.
Harbor Grand or Grand Harbor? I don't remember which way it goes. I walked in there and it sparked off the quest, but I was like, oh no, we can't do that yet, so I backed out. So I actually haven't started that quest yet. So
that's for next week. So yeah.
All right. So next week I should be able to finally tattletale on those sons of bitches.
Yeah, well, we're wrapping everything up. So yeah, it should definitely kick off.
All right, but I just now need to remember to go in and get those quests started, back out of them, go to the mainland, talk to Kells then, and then go back again. Okay, I'm going to try to remember to do that.
You might even get a pop-up. Like, you might even get an update on it that Lancer Captain Kells wants to talk to you. That sort of thing like they do.
Yes, right. What was the quest called again? You said it had a...
Search and Destroy.
Search and Destroy. All right, I'm going to keep my...
Search and seek and... Yep.
Going to keep my my radar up for Search and Destroy. All right. Speaking of searching and destroying, we've got some feedback to get into, you guys. So let's roll into and check in with Clint here.
We make feedback.
G'day, Clint again. One thing I like about having Robert Picardo as a companion is he never says much, just the occasional hello and also the occasional
here, have a stim pack.
Or if you ask him,
please state the nature of the medical emergency.
And then there's the famous,
I'm a doctor, not a commando.
Curie, on the other hand, is quite vocal, annoyingly so at times, but cute other times.
Do you ever feel like just running for the sheer pleasure of it? Do you feel the need to picnic? I notice that other people stare at me. Is there something wrong with my backside?
Anyway, on with the feedback. Having helped the harbour people all she could, it was now time for Peterson to go and complete the quest for Kasumi. Previously, Dima had handed over a program to decode his lost memories in the command centre of the Nucleus, a submarine base occupied by the Children of Adam. So to gain access to it was necessary to, well, at least pretend to join the cult. To do this, Peterson was required to drink some radioactive water from a waterfall and then have a vision of following a spectre to a building where an icon was locked away. Eventually obtaining the icon gave her access to the base, and she had to put up with a lot of BS to get through the base and into the passage to the command centre terminal. This passage was even less friendly, and Peterson and the team came across traps, turrets, protectrons and assaultrons on the way. Luckily, there were some beds on the way, so Peterson could get a little life-saving sleep. In the command centre, she had to find how to power up the computer and then deal with a very explosive assaultron before getting down to the business of decoding Dima's memories. Well, it seems the program Peterson obtained from Dima was better than she expected, and the memory tapes were soon there to see. They were memories of where Dima had buried various objects she didn't want to remember. These included the whereabouts of a key to switch off the island's wind generator, another key to blow up his submarine, that's going to be tempting, and a full set of marine armour and the whereabouts of a secret medical facility. So it was first things first and off to the Vim factory to discover this medical facility. The factory was now being run by super mutants, so they took a little while to take care of. Sure enough, down in the basement, Peterson found proof that Dima had murdered Captain Avery and replaced her with a synth. The idea being to have an ally in the town to keep tabs on them and help broker peace between the factions. Yeah, from what Peterson had seen, it didn't seem to be going all that well. Next, it was over to Dalton Farm to get some sleep, and upon waking up, the farm was being attacked by trappers. So once they were dispatched, one of the settlers said she knows where they're coming from and they should be gotten rid of. The settler even volunteered to help. Well, the more the merrier, so the four of them set out for Rayburn Point, where they found about 7 trappers. Once they were finished off, the settler thanked Peterson and set off back home. So while there, Peterson noticed that she was quite close to where the wind farm key was buried, so it was a short run to fetch that. The only trouble was half a dozen anglers needed to be eradicated first. Those things are hard work. Then Peterson went to locate the nuclear key as well as the marine armour for good measure. Fair bit of swimming involved in getting that. And another group of super mutants to contend with at the Harbour Grand Hotel to find the key and learn of the final moments of Franny and Arnold. All that done, the best left forgotten quest was complete, and it was now time to do something about the situation on the island. What decisions will Peterson take? Find out in the next instalment when we meet again in the Far Harbour Wasteland.
Isn't pretending to join the Children of Adam exactly the same as actually joining the Children of Adam?
Kind of in the same way, infiltrating the Institute is exactly the same as joining the Institute for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like you're still drinking radiated water enough to hallucinate a demon woman running through the irradiated forest and such. So that's pretty hilarious. He mentioned the explosive Assaultron. I also that Assaultron extremely, is it more explosive? What is the difference? Is it just that it has nuclear radiation added to the explosion or something? Because it is pretty fucking devastating. It's like, that's more than a normal Assaultron, right?
Maybe it's just because you're in close quarters. It might be, but I mean, how often do we have, and this is Fallout 4, like that level of Assaultron? So maybe there's like a damage boost based on their base damage for the explosion, and because she's tougher. Clint also in chat mentions it's the mindset though, and it totally is. Like for role play purposes, like, it's kind of like the whole dialogue system in 4 sometimes, when you have a conversation where you can say yes, or yes sarcastically, or yes disapprovingly. You can do it while laughing at them at the same time.
Yeah. He mentions that the discovery of Avery is a synth been planted by Dima, and I don't know why this has never hit me before, but was Martin the same thing, and then Martin got found out and disappeared? Is that what happened to Martin?
No, Martin is it was his friend, and that's one of the reasons why he kind of trusted the Children of Adam with that, and left the base to Martin. Martin was actually, if you dig into it between some notes and stuff like that, and haven't done it all this playthrough yet, but as I recall, it was actually has to do with Sister Aubert and the stuff she not Aubert, the one that the heretic. What's her name? It's just
down at the church, right? I don't remember her name, right?
The one I had to go after earlier. Yeah. Brinlin? I'm suddenly forgetting her name. I knew it a minute ago. Anyway, I believe she and Martin talked, and she kind of convinced him of some of what she had found and discovered about the true nature of Adam. Not Adam the god, but of atoms and nuclear and all that.
Energy, right. Interesting. All right, Clint, thank you so much for your feedback. Always appreciated, sir. We have one from Eric here coming up.
Hello, fellow Wastelanders. Eric, aka Sulior here, and here we are, part 3. So, yeah, this is going to be the wrap-up for Far Harbor and a couple other things that I've been up to since then. So, where we left off, I was going to confront Dima about everything that he did, both good and bad. So I confronted Dima, and I was lucky enough to get him to turn himself in with a red speech check. So I went back to the pier, and Dima turned himself in and was killed along with Brooks, because of course Brooks is a synth also. So apparently I hadn't done enough to help the Harborman, and this is where everything kind of comes to bite me in the ass, although from a character standpoint I guess it kind of makes sense. So I mentioned that I killed Machete Mike, and somehow the Mariner knew about it, so she was pissed. I honestly didn't even realize that she had another quest after that, because I don't know, maybe I killed him in my previous playthrough also. But yeah, I hadn't done anything to help Mitch because I took all of those settlements. So yeah, he was pissed at me. The only person that was happy was Cassie Dalton because I had done all of her quests. So yeah, nobody stood with me when I was trying to prevent Acadia from being ransacked and everybody killed. So I went to go help them because I guess I didn't really have a choice at this point. And Acadia was completely wiped out. And I looked everywhere for Kasumi. Like, I really wanted to find her body just to see whether or not she's a synth. And I couldn't find her. But I was told by Swear I'm Normal, who was watching at the time, that, at least I think she was watching at the time, that Kasumi does not have a synth component. And I, for one, am, regardless of whether or not there are some synths out there that don't have one, I'm taking that as she's not a synth. But I was really hoping that since I couldn't find her, that she had escaped. But I guess that's not the case. So as we're leaving Acadia, Mitch actually was very pleased with everything and said, now we just need to take out the children of Adam. So, I mean, yeah, I felt kind of dirty wiping out Acadia, helping wipe out Acadia. But, since I'm Brotherhood of Steel, I take it from a character standpoint that, since I'm Brotherhood of Steel, that's the right thing to do, even though I personally don't believe that. So, yeah, I decided, what the hell, let's go take out the children of Adam. So I go to the nucleus and I start everything, and then I apparently decided to take a jump off the balcony and fall to my death. So I had to do that a second time, but, what can you do? So, yeah, I blew the children of Adam to hell. And then went to go see Kasumi's parents to give them the bad news. And, they, of course, were devastated. But I did tell them, even though I didn't have any firsthand proof, that Kasumi was not a synth. So, yeah, that kind of sucked. But somebody had to tell them. So, yeah, that was the end of Far Harbor. So I decided to continue the Brotherhood of Steel quests. So made a trip to the bunker in the Glowing Sea to get the parts for the Liberty Prime Mark II. And then Maxon sent me to take out Dance. But I was able to convince him to not kill himself. And then I had never actually seen this go down before. So I went and, Maxon was right there outside the bunker and gave me what for. And I was able to convince him to let Dance go. And I straight up defied him, and he promoted me to Paladin. So how does that work?
Yep.
I tell you to
That's
go
great.
to hell, and you promote me for it. So I guess that's kind of a win-win. So after that, he tells me to go take out the railroad. Ugh. I hate doing this. But yeah, I did go take out the railroad. And this is where things kind of hit the fan. So I get the quest to go to Mass Fusion from Proctor Ingram, which, is it just me, or does her power armor look like it's just a chassis? It doesn't look like it actually has any pieces on it.
She didn't got no
But
legs,
you got to
man.
take a vertibird to Mass Fusion, and I couldn't do it. It kept crashing on me repeatedly over and over and over again as soon as I go to hop off the vertibird. I talked about this in Discord a little bit, but I would get to a certain point and it just wouldn't quite get there. Like, it wouldn't quite get through the threshold. And this was all happening on stream, so I decided to wait on that and try Radiant Mink, because that is one of the story mods that I hadn't tried yet, and it was the same deal. I would get to where it is and run up to the building and not quite reach the door before it would crash. And I tried this off stream as well, thinking maybe the stream was putting a little bit of excess strain on it. So maybe if I could just get through the damn door, then it would be fine. But I can't do those. So I started getting really discouraged. And, I was still on stream. So I went to the Salem Museum and took out the Deathclaw, and I delivered the egg to the other Deathclaw. And, I posted pictures and pretty much everywhere of the Deathclaw up close, and because I thought it was kind of cool. And yeah, I did a couple of other side quests, just trying to find shit to do, because at this point I'm getting really discouraged. It's like, what can I actually do that's worth a damn in this game until we start doing the other DLC? And yeah, I just did a couple of other side quests, but yeah, I was taking a break with Fallout 4 until recently, where I was like, you know what? I know what I can do. I haven't taken my assigned settlement yet, which is Vault 88. So I am currently in Vault 88, and I've completely cleared it out. I got lucky with the Mirework Queen and all of those rad scorpions, which when those swarm you are a bitch. But yeah, I got lucky with the Mirework Queen. I took some Psycho and Med-X, and Dogmeat distracted her to where I could get behind her and take her out with my katana. So that's where I'm at now. I also placed the bike, the exercise bike, which this is kind of funny. The only other time that I've been in Vault 88 was with the character that I had, my original Xbox character that I started right before the last Fallout 4 Roundtable. And I was there with Kate, who I was romancing at the time. And when I got that guy on, what's his name, Clem, on the exercise bike, she was right there with me, and him setting off that EMP was apparently really romantic for her. Let's just say that when he let off that burst, yeah, she was overjoyed by that. So yeah, that maxed out her affinity with me, and she really liked me at that point. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, when he erupted, so apparently did she. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now, and I'm just gonna kind of keep going with this until we start Automatron. So I'll be sure to update you guys along the way as to what I'm up to. So until next time, I will see everybody in the wasteland.
We see you in the wasteland. Hey, Eric. Hate taking out the railroad too myself. Always feels dirty doing that. But I'm with the Brotherhood too now, so I assume eventually I'll get around that I have to do that. Is there any way to play it, the Brotherhood, without taking out? I assume not. I assume you have
not
to,
if you're going to
that.
get the full Brotherhood storyline. You can do a three-way piece, kind of finishing things up with the Minutemen, and never talking to Kells a second time after you get Liberty Prime together, and kind of having it in hover point. There are a couple ways to do the three-way piece that people have talked about, but but yeah, you can't complete the Brotherhood without taking the railroad unless you mod it.
Well, that kind of makes me think, if the Brotherhood tells me to go see Amari, if Desdemona tells me to go see Amari, will Preston also eventually tell me to go see Amari? Do you think that's in his backstory somehow too?
I don't think you would get there with him or Sturgis necessarily. What are the circumstances under which Desdemona and then Maxon told you to go see Dr. Amari, and you've already met her?
Well, Maxon's like, well, we're at a loss. I have nowhere else to go. I don't know where to find this. We know that the Institute got its start in the ruins of the College of Technology. And I'm like, okay, so why don't we look underneath it, douchebag? But he's like, and we're at a loss now. We have no idea where else to look. Why don't you take that brain scanner thing to Dr. Amari to see if she has idea? So he already knows about the Commonwealth Institute of Technology. Like,
Yeah, I don't
that's
think
weird that he knows about that, but not that they're underground.
a lot of people don't. A lot of people, it just never occurred to them because, there's no obvious entrance or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't necessarily have to be underneath that. I mean, it could be underground anywhere.
Anywhere, right.
So you're just going to, nuke the whole, Boston.
Now
But
I
that
want to go
isn't-
play all Minutemen stuff to see if Preston or Sturgis tells me to go see Dr. Amari.
Yeah, it might be Sturgis if anyone did. I mean, it's interesting that he references the Commonwealth Institute of Technology because I didn't know that he knew that either. I mean, it's essentially from Virgil that you get that that's a great place to start tracking a courser, for instance. But yeah, I didn't remember Maxon referencing it until you have done that point.
I
when
don't
you do
think
the
I've been
courser.
to Virgil in this playthrough.
No, you haven't
Certainly
yet.
not because yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the quest is just trying to push you to finish up the main quest line.
Yeah.
Yep.
To
Kind
be
of
able
all
to do
ties
that.
in.
And Desdemona sends you. So did she send you there because you hadn't decoded it, or did she send you there to talk to Amari about the moving the location of the synths?
I can't recall because it was a few weeks ago now, but I might go ask her again just to see why she's telling me to go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they don't really know anything until you bring them the courser chip.
Right.
And what do I have? I have a piece of his
Kellogg's
brain. I have some brain matter attached to a synth component or something.
It's like
right?
a little brain popsicle. Yeah, you've got 3 fun things, only one of which actually does anything. The other 2 which can be sold.
Well, I have trouble doing that too. I drop those in my workbench as well. I'm like, these might come in handy sometime. No, they're not, Andrew.
Yeah, that's like when you go to move and you like open up a box. You're like, what do I have in here? Oh, look, odd brain matter. You don't need to keep it.
I better take this with me just in case. Ingram and her chassis. Yeah, dude, she ain't got no legs. She needs somehow to get around.
She's got a classy chassis. It allows her to breathe. Like, that's why she doesn't need the heavy armor, because she needs to breathe since she's in it 24/7.
Right. It is damn hot in the Pridwin. Have you ever been in there?
Mhm.
Good Lord. All the welding and shit they're doing.
It was fun hearing about him doing the Brotherhood stuff, and that's where his character's going. I still have fond memories of my time with them. I am sorry about the crashing in a few points.
Yeah, he said it at the hotel down at the Grand. I keep wanting to call it Grantchester, but that's the other mod.
No, he was talking primarily about taking the Vertibird to Mass Fusion.
Mass Fusion, yeah.
Oh. Right. Well, he also mentioned Vault 88 and Clem and the explosion. I love that scene. It's always fun. That brings it to mind. One thing I was curious about. Down at Vault 88, if you do all the things, it gives you each an item to boost a special category. And I mentioned last week how I always build all of those and then go and run through all of them before I go out adventuring. And then I think Green Dragon mentioned, you only get one at a time, or Lee, one of the two of them. Lee. They said that they read that maybe only one counts at a time, and they get replaced each time. And I'm like, no, why would that happen? You're allowed to stack chems, and you're allowed to stack everything in Fallout 4. It's 76 that doesn't allow you to stack things. And then I went and I tested it out, and fuck, it does replace each one. You can only take one at a time. It pisses me off.
Completely right. Good call, Jason. Good call.
And then I was wondering about the soda machine. The purpose of that is to put caps into your workbench, if I recall. But can it also give you a charisma boost? Because there is no activate icon when I go like touch it, put my cursor on it, whatever. I can assign a settler to it. I built a robot, called him Soda Jerk, and I assigned him to the soda machine.
It generates happiness. That's the big thing that it does.
But I thought it would be connected to charisma, and it's literally putting caps in the workbench. So There is one for every category, except for I don't think you can boost charisma. I was trying to boost charisma before I sold a bunch of stuff, which is why I came across this problem. But I couldn't find a way to get it to give me charisma, which I was like, that's a bummer.
Just use grape mentats.
Oh, geez, that's easy to say, Ray. Where's my fucking Chem Ghoul? Those are all over the place in 76. You just kill the Chem Ghoul and you get 10,000 grape mentats. 76, I have so many grape mentats, I'm selling them. You know what I mean? But in 4, it's like, oh my god, grape mentats. Holy shit, yay. All right, the Eureka. We found it.
You have chemist, right?
No. My intelligence is 1.
Maybe get some.
I thought you had chemist.
No.
I had to do that for antibiotics. I got so tired of being sick all the damn time. I took a perk in chemistry just to level in chemistry just to be able to make antibiotics.
Oh, that was so tempting to do, but then I was like, I am going to pound this idiot savant thing hard, so I'm not going to ever increase any intelligence and keep it at 1 the whole time.
Maybe when you're in the triple digits, you could stop pounding it. I mean, I think it's crying uncle at this point.
No, take it, idiot savant. Pound, pound, pound. All right. Thank you, Eric, for the feedback. Looking forward to continued adventures once we hit Automatron. Coming up next, we've got Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Fallout Feed. Jeff from Cleveland here again. Just checking in my progress here with Norman. Norman is currently level 57, and he has been busy around Far Harbor. I've been helping all 3 factions kind of get their problems taken care of. Ultimately, I want to make peace in Far Harbor. I am siding with Acadia, so I think that's doable. So I started out helping out in my assigned quests or assigned settlement. I started helping out over in Acadia. I finished data recovery for Faraday. He seemed a little ungrateful because he wishes there was some more tapes, but unfortunately, I found what I found. There was I think there was something locked over there that I couldn't unlock. So there might have been something more in there, but oh well. I also finished the Arrival. I found the head of the synth that I was looking for. Unfortunately, they met their demise to the cannibals. So I cleared out all the cannibals, and since I am a cannibal myself, I proceeded to eat the cannibals.
You are what you eat.
It had me wondering, was I eating synth, like in a roundabout way? They ate the synth, and I ate them, so I guess, I don't know, second harvest, I guess. Alright, well then after that, I went up to Far Harbor and I was helping them out a little bit. I finished the holdout. Uncle Ken's an asshole. I should have left him there. I shouldn't have helped him out, but I think it's the National Park Visitor Center, and that's my assigned settlement, so unfortunately I had to do that, and I guess sending him back to Far Harbor is good because it gets him off my land. I also finished for Far Harbor the Rite of Passage, where you throw the meat into the water and you fight the Mirelurks. That was quite a tough fight with the Mirelurks. You know, there was a bunch of them up there, and I'm a level 57, so they're throwing them all at me at I'm sure everybody's pretty high level now, so they're all pretty tough. But I did making my way through there. I think I only died once, which is surprising. Then I moved on to the Children of Adam, since I need to get in there and to access Dima's memories. I needed to convince them to let me in there. Again, I'm trying to broker a little bit of peace between everyone, so I didn't just want to go in there guns a-blazing. So I did their Visions of the Fog quest. I followed the Night Mother to that little statue. It looked like an Oscar or something. And again, I'm always asking, there's people that live with the Children of Adam that are like, oh my god, you seen the Night Mother? That's amazing. Why did she choose to show herself to me? I don't understand why everything in this game always seems to be, oh, you're the chosen one. You're the Dragonborn. You're, whatever. But yeah, turned that in. Gave him the Oscar for, worst dressed. I finished The Heretic. I found her and I convinced her to leave. I don't want any bloodshed. I don't want her to be forced into something that she didn't want to be into. They wanted me to kill her. No, thank you. I'll kill. There's plenty to kill out there. Finished the trial with Brother Devin. I did get overly exposed to radiation and put on the robes, put on the sack hood, and convinced him that I was whoever it was, and as of right now, Devin is going to be fine. And then I actually had to look up online how to pronounce this quest. The Elblutations. I still can't pronounce it, but Elblutations. Where you go to the Vim factory and try to find that the pump so they could fix their radiation shower. I get to the room where the pump is supposed to be on the desk, and the quest markers on the desk, but there's no pump sitting there. I'm looking all around. I go down into the room with all the vats down there, thinking maybe I threw grenades that I don't remember throwing and it knocked it somewhere. I couldn't find it anywhere. Looked it up online. Apparently it is a glitch in this quest where a lot of people, not a lot, but there have been people that cannot find it. This is why I have the cheat terminal mod in my back pocket. I don't use it very often, but when I need to, it's there. So I just went into the settings, went into Far Harbor, and added it to my inventory that way. Basically, it's the cheat terminal is a console command mod for the console. So I was able to just add it to my inventory and finish that quest. So I went back, fixed their radiation shower. I did fix it. I didn't actually make it clear radiation. At this point, I'm fully leveled up in Ghoulish, so the more reds, the better. Luckily, I didn't have Ghoulish leveled up when I was doing the trial of Brother Devin, because at that point you can't get fully irradiated, so I would have had to go a different route that way. And then onto the main quest, I did the Best Left Unforgotten. I died. I can't even count them as many times as I counted, or I can't count as high of how many times I've died, because that was just, that was rough. But I finally made it through, and I got into the terminal. I got in there, the first memory, do all the things you're supposed to do, set up the turrets, set up the bridges and such, and my sprites just kind of hang out in the corner. They go to where they're supposed to extract the data from, but they just stand in the corner for whatever reason. You could read online, you can kind of guide them, but nothing happened.
Build a wider bridge.
So luckily I had a save that was a little bit back, but unfortunately I did have to fight that invisible Assaultron again, or whatever it is, that insane robot that killed me about 75 times. I had to reload that save and die about 10 more times before I could actually get into the computer. And once I accessed it the second time, it finally cleared, and I had no problems. I made it through all my memories. The fifth memory, I did the cheaty way with the turrets and such.
See, it is.
Because as soon as I loaded it up, I'm like, yeah, this is too much. So I just turned around, set the turrets up, and waited. So I got the memories. I bolted out. Didn't bother talking to anybody else at the nucleus. I ran right back to Dima. I know it tells you to go, search for his medical lab, search for a couple of different things, but I just went straight to Dima. Acadia is my faction, so I got his memories. I just want to talk. I want to tell him about his memories. I get back there. He tells me I think it was Chase was following me, saw me go in there, so he's assuming I found something. And I think it only gave me one option. Oh yeah, it said that you tell him that he did know how to launch the nuclear bomb in the nucleus and chose to forget it. And then it gives you a couple options to detonate the bomb and take out the children of Adam, but he does say there are innocents there, so it would be a bad option. There is the option that you can kill. He's like, let's just take everyone out. Let's just kill everyone. And I'm like, that would be fun. But again, trying to broker peace. So I chose the option of, hey, let's try to, I'll make sure nobody can find this detonation code ever again. So we don't have to worry about that. I know there is more to this quest, but I didn't actually get down to the Vim Factory for the second time. It's been a busy week, but it's starting to slow down, so I can get caught up. I am Twitch streaming maybe once a week now. Still following 97. I appreciate everyone that's been popping in. Thanks again for last week, or 2 weeks ago it was. I had a lot of fun on the podcast. Another good 3.5 hour podcast where almost falling asleep on the mic. But again, I had a blast. Thank you guys. You guys always make me feel welcome. And on that note, I will see you in the wasteland.
If we don't go 3.5 hours, have we even podcasted?
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's just a blip.
Thanks, Jeff, for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you. And speaking of that, we will be having a fan favorite, appearing on the show next week. That's right. You get a double dip of the lead drop this week, everybody. Congratulations. Jeff, I love your notion of cannibals eating cannibals. You know, you are what you eat sort of thing. Are you eating synth now because the cannibals eat synth and you eat the cannibals? Who says that the cannibals you just ate weren't synths themselves? You know, they wouldn't know unless you killed them and found a synth thing in their head, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the circle of life with cannibals.
Always a thing there. The Uncle Ken settlement, the visitor center, whatever, the park visitor center, I forget what it's actually called. You said you had fun getting rid of Ken because he's a dickweed, and yeah, he is a jerk. But that quest might be the time that I died the most on the island. I reloaded there easily 15, 20 times. Anyone who saw me stream last week saw me die a few times to super mutants outside of the hotel, and I was getting a little ticked off at that, but that was nothing compared to the trappers that bombarded Uncle Ken's house there. I just died over and over and over. I don't know why, and maybe it's because they were attacking from all sides. Eventually, I set up turrets in strategic places, but then they would come and destroy the turrets in like 2 shots and then come kill me, and so I ended up having to put the turrets up high on the building and tucked behind things so that they couldn't easily get easy shots at the turrets, so the turrets could see them before they saw the turrets and all that, and it was just a real big hassle. But Uncle Ken's settlement was a really hard one for me to earn there. He also said he wants to have peace all over the island, so he's siding with Acadia. You still have to destroy the nucleus, right?
No.
Nope.
Oh.
You can choose to replace Tectus in the same way Avery was replaced.
Oh,
Now
so
you've
it's
gotta-
not Martin who's replaced. You were going to replace Tectus. Okay.
Exactly, because Martin was decent, but Tectus, there's really no way around it. I mean, when you talk to the dude, you realize he is very full of himself.
They make it an easy decision based on the dialogue options there. You see that
Mhm.
Tectus is a real hard ass and just really unforgiving and won't bend and just oof.
One thing I want to address in Just Feedback too, he just kind of mentioned about being the center of the world. You know, how you saw the Night Mother. Sorry, not the Night Mother. the Fog Mother.
Mother of the Fog.
You're the
Yes.
Dragonborn.
Sweet mother, send your fog unto me. But
Send your fog
it
unto me.
is a thing. But I think the way that it's kind of described in the game, is that some people do. It's not singular that you saw her. It's just rare. You know what I mean? It's just rare that you would actually see the Mother of the Fog. But it is, sometimes you do wish the game wasn't quite so you-centric. At least you can't become the leader of the Children of Adam on this one. And I think the people at Bethesda have realized that it's kind of a trope that suddenly, you're leading all like 5 factions and stuff like that. They seem to be getting away from it a little bit on the storylines, which is nice. And they said in Starfield, for instance, that they're getting away from that. Although, it would surprise me if you ended in charge of Constellation. Yeah.
You're
not going to be the leader of the United Colonies.
You're going to be the leader of Constellation. You're going to find some mining faction. You're going to be the leader of that. You're going to find some other alien faction. You're going to be the leader of that. You're going to find this, that, and the other. It's going to be exactly like Skyrim, where you can be the leader of the Companions, the leader of the College of Magic, the leader of all I forget what all the things are, but the assassins, whoever those people are, and the Thieves Guild, and you're going to
Space Death Claws. Yes, exactly. I want to be the head Space Death Claw. Albino. Chameleon.
You're going to train those things.
For sure.
But we will always be the Dragonborn. I mean, but what else are we going to do, Jeff? Do you want to just be an NPC in a video game? Like, do you want the person off adventuring just to come visit you to sell stuff to you? Is that how you want to play a video game?
I mean, that's pretty great sometimes too. It's like the Skyrim playthrough, like Michael was doing with the alchemist or herbalist. It is fun to do that kind of playthrough. There is a game. I think you tried it, Ray. What is the game where you're playing a character in medieval Europe, like around Bavaria?
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yes, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Like the entire point of that is while you can work your way up to become a knight, it takes so much work. And you're never really more than a side character in this story. I mean, you're the center of your story, but not the big story,
Right.
I do like that
sounds
kind of
interesting.
Thing. Yeah.
You're kind of like an NPC then at that point.
to the main character, yeah, you are. Yeah, but no, in BGS games, when we're the main character a lot of the time.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, thank you so much. Pleasure to see you a couple weeks ago, and thanks for sending in feedback. Let's go ahead and check in with Will.
Hey, Fallout fam. Will here to talk a little bit more about Bond. I accidentally got behind, not because I haven't been playing. When I was on the show a few weeks back, I was all caught up, so I had an extra week to do the quest. With 3 weeks before feedback was due, I decided to go back to the Commonwealth and tidy up some things over there. Mostly the settlement and railroad quests, nothing related to the current quest, but I did report back to the railroad about the synth over there, Far Harbor. So I'll skip over all that, except for one silly little side note. One of my favorite foods is hummus, just plain hummus, and I almost always have some in my fridge to snack on with some pita or whatever. And after clearing the Suffolk County Charter School, I've realized that if it were pink hummus, it would look just like the nutritional food paste found from there, at least the cheap store bought stuff I keep in my fridge. So now, every now and then when I'm hungry, I'm like, I think I'll have some nutritional food paste. Anyways, there's just so much to do in the Commonwealth, and especially in survival mode, where I'm just walking all over the place. I kept getting distracted by different things, and I did not make it back to Far Harbor in time for last week's quest. Thought I was going to catch back up this week, but it didn't quite happen. Bond did get back to Far Harbor, though. He forgot to stock up on ammo beforehand, so stopped by Alan Lee to buy some 308. Bond decided very quickly he did not like him and didn't want to give him any of his caps, so he tried to buy elsewhere. But didn't get as much ammo as he would have liked, so had to go back to him. But he put on his best barter clothes and took some great mentats in an attempt to give him as few caps as possible, which that's usually stuff I don't worry about. And with that, Bond went back to Acadia, found Kasumi, asked her why she thought she was a synth, but left open the possibility that she was. Did all the stuff around Acadia without telling Dima, and agreed to get Dima's memories for Kasumi from the Children of Adam. Bond sort of took an indirect route to get there, to go to the nucleus, and ran into Pearl, who talked him into solving the murder up there in Vault 118. So he followed her up there, killed all the ghouls leading into the vault, and found a bed and took a nap. He interviewed all the robo-brains, solved the murder, and continued on. As he did, he found the tools on Howard's body for Cassie Dalton along the way and discovered Beaver Creek Lanes, which was a safe house location or something the railroad had asked him to clear. He did, finding the striker and reading that cute little story about the guys working at the bowling alley that rigged up a fat man to launch bowling balls at the pins for some other person that had an accident and couldn't bowl anymore. He played around with the striker for a little bit and thought it was kind of fun, but too heavy. More for Curie to carry. As he's exiting Beaver Lane, a game crashes. So Bond wakes up in a bed back at Vault 118. Solves a murder, finds Howard, clears out Beaver Creek Lanes, and upon exiting, game crashes. Wakes back up at Vault 118, solves a murder, find Howard's body, this time because he just runs straight past Beaver Creek Lanes because there certainly seems like an issue leaving there, and I'm hoping whatever cache or whatnot will clear and I can do it later without issue. He makes it to the nucleus, witnesses that little execution, and talks to the Grand Zealot. He tells him, I don't want to join some weird cult, just let me inside. But the Grand Zealot says, no one can enter unless they drink from the spring. So Bond is like, sure, whatever, I'll drink from you, silly little spring. So he runs over to the spring, drinks from it, and the reality around him begins to warp. Through the haze and the distortion, he makes out a figure beckoning him. He follows without hesitation, knowing this is his destiny. He follows the figure along through the mist, seeing images of various creatures like fog crawlers and such along the way, yet he knows he is safe from them. Until finally they come to a small building, and the shadowy figure points to it. Bond goes to where he was directed and is forced to kill several ghouls outside of it, enters, takes the icon from the shrine inside, and returns to the nucleus. Starts to talk to the Grand Zealot, and game crashes. So he wakes up, solves the murder at Vault 118, runs over to the nucleus, starts to talk to the Grand Zealot when there's a notice that he needs to heal his companion. Goes back a little to find Dogmeat down while Curie is fighting a fog crawler that's fighting an angler. He kills him, heals Dogmeat, goes back to the Grand Zealot, and game crashes. Back to Vault 118, solve the murder, over to the nucleus, drink the water from the spring, follow a shadowy figure, and this time get killed by the ghouls in front of the shrine. So, one more time, back to Vault 118. This time, Bond does everything again, and he makes it all the way back to the Grand Zealot. When Bond asks if he was supposed to see some creepy woman, the Grand Zealot freaks and is like, you saw the Mother of Fog? And says he's ready. There's a place for him there. Bond is getting pretty confused at this point. He's not sure if it's the lingering effects from the spring poison or the radiation from the fog, but he's starting to ask questions. He's not quite ready to commit to follow the path, but says he's willing to learn and is allowed in. As he does, High Confessor Tectus is giving a speech while a bunch of people appear to be worshiping him. When that concludes, he starts talking to Bond. So at this point, I'm assigned Children of Adam, and I'm overthinking every response so that it will be the poison and radiation are affecting his mind to make decisions he wouldn't usually make, which is why he's going to join Children of Adam. But I'm trying to make it a slow process that gradually takes over him, and I don't want to just accidentally cut off that path. So while I'm thinking about all that, I turned the game off. That's as far as I got. I was just worn out and didn't want to play anymore, so I watched The Witcher instead. Should be able to catch up next week. Sorry.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
But now for the Lanyap stuff. Bond is level 64 and has all his assigned perks maxed out. Still no Sandman kills, and still isn't using a heavy weapon, which he was assigned. I am thinking it might be a heavy incinerator, which is a Creation Club weapon that he picked up at Saugus Ironworks. Sort of like an auto grenade launcher, but it shoots fireballs instead. They explode like Molotov cocktails or something like that. I've been putting a lot of points into the specials rather than just perks. So the guns he's been using don't have any added damage to them, like from Gunslinger or Rifleman or whatever. But he does have some crit perks maxed out. Those combined with the rifle he has, which has a lucky effect on it that increases the rate the crit bar feels, means he does get a whole lot of crits in. He also he has his strength, endurance, intelligence, agility, and luck all at 10 points. So that's lots of AP, and he can sprint really, really far. Supposedly there's some kind of ratio between endurance and agility that means you can sprint indefinitely, but I guess just having both of them maxed out doesn't quite work, although he can sprint a very long time. I've been wanting to take this sneak and ninja perk so I can stack them with the Mr. Sandman perk I was assigned, but I'm kind of wondering if it's a waste of time. I'm not sure why Curie is such a different companion. We already talked about how she has this super high amount of hit points, but she's also the only companion that has no sneak when all the rest have equivalent of rank 4, I believe. So sneaking around with her is hard. I have tried making all of her armor muffled, which does seem to help some, but I'm kind of unsure as to how much. Speaking of armor, I considered switching all my armor to the lead lined to deal with the fog radiation in Far Harbor, but did decide against it. I have solar powered max out, which reduces radiation and heals health when in sunlight, and that seems to be working enough that I don't have to worry about it. Just in extreme times, like when I took a whole bunch of radiation at that shrine, I took a refreshing beverage, which is definitely my new favorite chem in survival. And also with endurance at 10, the resistance to diseases seems to be just so much better. I'm so much less afraid to sleep in a sleeping bag or a dirty mattress or whatever. When once an illness was almost guaranteed, they're now much less common. All right, I'm going to cut it off there. I will see y'all in a couple of weeks. Until then, see you in the wasteland.
Jesus Christ, will you please find a goddamn sleeping bag somewhere and save? So I went back to Vault 118, solved the mystery again, and then I went back to... Holy shit, brother. Find a goddamn place to sleep, please.
Yeah, there's beds in the nucleus.
That's amazing. Well, I can't believe how many times you had to reload that.
Yeah, it's such a bummer.
Can't blame him for jumping into The Witcher after a bit, which, I mean, you watched The Witcher already too, didn't you, Ray, the first half of it?
Yeah.
And you're going to very soon, right, Andrew? As soon as Tori finds out it's back?
I can't believe she still hasn't discovered it. Don't you dare whisper a word. I don't know why, but that actor I cannot stand Henry Cavill. He ruined Superman for me, and I just watch him in other things, and I'm just like, I don't like this guy. I watched a couple of episodes of The Witcher with Tori when she first discovered the show. Are they in season 3 or 4 now?
This is season 3 out now. Yeah, Henry Cavill's last season. So a lot of people are going to stop watching, and you may actually be interested.
Yeah, right. I don't know why, but I just cannot stand that actor. And I swear it has something to do with his relationship to Superman. But
I really think so, yeah. You just didn't like the way that he portrayed him. I really liked his Superman, but especially in Justice League, I get why you didn't.
Yeah, it just... I don't even know if I try to avoid all that stuff. I like Henry. He's great, says Solior. Oh, God. I don't know.
Here I am exposing more of your opinions.
Yeah, he's a big-time gamer.
Yeah, he played through the Witcher series and everything Tori was saying. Like, he's really into it and wanted to explore the character before acting, and it's like, well, that's awesome. You should do your research. I appreciate the effort and everything. I don't know what's up with my Henry Cavill relationship. Yep.
But it's a great show. It's back, season 3. I don't blame you, Will. Sometimes you gotta just step back and say, okay, enough of this BS.
He's going to be in Warhammer now, apparently, Solior says. So he's leaving The Witcher to join a different video game television series.
Warhammer was his game before.
Oh, okay.
Gonna be a space marine, but back to the Fallout.
Will, you ruined hummus for me forever.
No, I mean, I hear you, though, that pink goo.
I love the pink paste. +1 endurance. Bam.
Oh,
I love hummus.
Oh, my. Is there like an endless supply of pink goo down there you collect off the ghouls or something? Or do you get it out of the machine at the end? Or where?
All over. Yeah, and you can find... I found dead raiders that have them on it.
Hmm.
or have it on them.
inside the building or out other
No,
places?
out in the wild.
Really? What does that imply? That they had been there, or
Yeah.
okay?
And it's not the only facility with it. I mean, it is the only one that we see specifically in Fallout 4 that I can think of right now. But like some mods have added it. Like we saw some of the pink goo in one of the mods we've played. Obviously, it's in the Enclave research base in Fallout 76. There's the pink goo. It was a kind of nationwide project they were rolling out.
A nutritional
that they were testing.
right, a nutritional program or something, right? Yeah.
You know what it makes me think of though, which BT dubs love hummus. 40 spices,
Yeah, absolutely.
garlic hummus, hot pepper chilies. Oh, hummus is just the best in all kinds of forms. But it makes me think of like the sausage or hot dog paste, like when they grind up the meat into pink goo to make like chicken nuggets and stuff.
Yeah, the chicken nugget goo, right?
Mechanically separated meat.
Chicken parts, right.
MSM.
Well, Will also mentioned that he just gets like the crappy store-bought stuff, and that stuff tastes fucking awesome. But have you guys ever tried to make hummus? It can't be that hard. It's just tahini and
definitely.
chickpeas, right? And
Garbanzo
garlic.
beans,
Lemon, oil, a few other things. But yeah, definitely. I've made it from both like a mix, which I know, but I have. And then I tried making fresh.
How about falafel? You tried to make that from scratch? I've never done that from scratch. I've only done that from like mixes and such.
I don't think so.
No, I've eaten falafel before, so there's no way in the world I'm going to make it.
Oh my God. In my vegetarian days, I was on major falafel kicks.
I love falafel, Ray. You don't like it?
Don't like it.
But how about hummus?
Oh, I love hummus.
It's just hummus balls fried.
Different texture, different flavor.
I love anything fried, so yeah, fry me up some hummus balls, man. Oh, so good. And that brings up that I was just thinking the other day, holy shit, we haven't talked about food in forever on the show. We need to do a food check-in at some point. So let's plan some sort of food topic at one point. Will mentioned you can say to the guy at the door, no, I refuse to go on that thing. Is there a way to talk your way into there without going through the whole rigmarole of drinking the water and getting the Night Mother statue and all that?
I don't think so.
You have to do that part?
Especially when you think about how much dialogue is baked into that you did do that afterward, too. Like, we're talking about
Right.
the NPCs that recognize that you have done it.
Yeah. And then I was thinking, if you're the mother, and you've got all this radiation, and you're going on this trip up the road, all the animals are bowing down and being peaceful and stuff. Why do the ghouls attack you at the... Shouldn't they also just be chilling and being like, oh, hi, welcome to our... It's like, I know there needs to be a big epic battle at the end of every step of the process in the quest-related game, but logically, I think the ghouls would recognize you as like a ghoul or something, since you're giving off the radiation profile, right? You just drank a bunch of radiated water. Like how the brother Devin worshiper guy, like you fooled him. Like I think the ghouls would also take you as an over irradiated person, therefore giving off a ghoul profile or something. Is my logic there faulty?
No, it's reasonable, but that's just not how it works.
how
Apparently,
ghouls
the ghouls can differentiate. I mean, keep in mind, ghouls will not attack sentient ghouls, so it's got to be more than just radiation level or something there.
So Hancock doesn't get attacked by ghouls if you have him with you out in the field?
Every rule is there to be broken, but he might not. I haven't really paid attention, but I think that he wouldn't be.
That'd be hilarious.
I think that he would be.
That would be funny if he was just standing there being like, have fun with that.
Yeah. Just put on the ghoul mask and have a good time.
They actually ignore you when you're wearing that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. It's so fun.
Yeah, as long as you don't get too close.
And Will always educates me on how to play these games correctly. Like, He was the first to pound into my head. I think I'd heard other people talk about this, but in 76, where, you take what rads and you save yourself the luck points of not having to use the card that prevents your...
Right.
So that's how you do that. And now he's saying, I don't invest in Fallout 4, I don't invest in the perks, I'm investing in the specials instead, which makes me think, oh shit, am I doing this wrong?
No, I mean, that is smart. Like, as we've learned from playing Bloodied or stuff like that, that specials have a huge influence themselves. So you do get a lot of boost on some basic things, but, not as much in 4. A lot of times the perks are well worth taking, depending on the skill you're looking at.
Jess, you'll be mad at me. The other day I had 33 unused perks in Fallout 4.
Well, when you're level freaking 30 billion, I think it's okay. I mean, 90. Have you maxed your assigned special, though? Please tell me you've maxed your assigned perks a long time ago.
I'm not.
Right?
Yeah, I did all that.
Okay.
Just recently, though, I invested a bunch of those points into getting all of my assigned perks, except for Hacker. I'm not going to pursue that, so I can keep my intelligence down at 1 and keep doing this idiot savant thing. But I did invest a bunch of points in luck. I had to get my luck up so I could... I'm a VATS user, and I have a pistol, and all of my armor is the super lightweight one where it gives you AP bonus. So I'm getting, like, my VATS, I can get 15, 16 shots off in one round of VATS. It's pretty amazing.
That's very much my focus too, because with the pistol VATS build, where I'm putting points right now is into perception, because I want to get up to the point where we can, shoot through cover and we can get the additional hits, have a greater percentage. If I can get those perks, I think that'll be a big thing. But I mean, I've had my build set since level, 18 or 20, so I've been playing it for a while.
Bingo.
The assigned build.
Bingo, you just nailed it. I have recently increased my luck so that I can get the Grim Reaper Sprint, the 4-leaf clover, all of the VATS perks, the critical banker, and all of those. And I just increased my perception all the way up so that I could get what's the one where you can shoot through walls and shit? I got that too. And it's amazing how VATS with critical banker and the shoot through cover. What is that perk called? The perception one where you can shoot through doors and stuff.
Under perception, I think it's like penetrator. Of course, it's penetrator.
Penetrator, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
So those are what I've concentrated on. I've only got like 13 perk points left after I invested all the points to get all that stuff. But VATS is just fucking devastating on my character now with my explosive pistol. It wrecks shit, man. That is great. If you have a bad guy and you got 4 crits that you can just pop all 4 of them off in a row, like very little bad guys will stand a chance if I actually have critical banker maxed out.
4-leaf clover, critical banker, and lots of AP. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So we've got a lot of feedback to get to still, but these ones coming up are a bit shorter. Do you want to get through a couple?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, Green Dragon.
Hello, this is Jason, aka Green Dragon. Now let's continue with Debbie's story. October 28, 2288. So the first thing we did was get the launch codes and hike our way back to the empty subbase. I thought I heard some noises and whispering but couldn't find who was making them, but we had no problems getting the place to mushroom. We stood back once we got out and watched the fireworks. October 30th, 2288. In order to finally get these people's approval, we headed out to cull the local Murloc population. On the way there, we found a crashed cargo truck with a Vim painted power armor on board. After checking it over to make sure it was in working condition, I plugged in a power core and got Kate to hop into it. Now we're both armored up, and lucky we were, as while we were culling Murlocs, a queen emerged and attacked us. After that, we had no problems with the settlers. November 2nd, 2288. Following the information I found about Dima, we stormed the Vim factory, which was swarming with super mutants. That was a tough battle, in which both our armors took a heavy beating, but we found our way to the burial site of the real mayor of Far Harbor. Dima had killed her and put one of his synths in to replace her. We are back at our temporary camp to rest up and repair. I'm going to contact the Institute to get their feedback. November 5, 2288. After getting some feedback and receiving a shipment of synth relay grenades, I approached Alan Lee and told him about the fake mayor. He demanded proof, which I then showed him. He proceeded to call the mayor out, and when she tried to bargain her way out, he shot her. This caused another disguised synth to attack, which was then shot down. After a quick town meeting, everyone armed up and set off to take down Dima once and for all. With me and Kate leading the attack, we stormed the building and put an end to this den of lies. Sadly, Kasumi decided to fight and was killed in the fight.
Oh no.
After the settlers had left, I had some of the scientists teleport in to check the bodies for model numbers, and we found only a handful were actually synths. After leaving Far Harbor, I stopped by to give the sad news to Kasumi's parents. I told them she was tricked and killed by the cult. December 11, 2288. It's been a while since I've updated this journal, but there hasn't been a lot happening. I've been taking care of Institute business and upgrading Kate's power armor. Offered to have the paint changed, but she said she likes it how it was. I mainly updated this journal now because we have had reports of more possible synths at some old amusement park called Nuka World, so I've decided to go and check it out. Kate's happy to be heading out as well, as she's been acting like a caged deathclaw the last couple of days.
That's not real, is it? You don't get an indication that there's synths in Nuka World, do you?
Oh, gonna have to look for that while we're there. I don't think so. I can't think of any, but perhaps.
Is the Institute
They're everywhere.
The Institute is the only source of synths, right?
Yes.
No one else can make them.
Yeah, and they're not out there procreating as far as we know.
Oh. They're fully biological. Why couldn't they? There must be something in the program where
I don't think they're
something.
designed to procreate.
I never even thought of that.
I think it would be cool. That would be really neat. Because then you get synth human hybrids or, synth proliferation. But
yeah.
Anywho, I don't know at Nuka World specifically.
That's a good side story mod to work on right there. One of the synths was actually, the original source. They're programmed to not be able to reproduce, but this one can carry a child, and
Yeah, that would be excellent. That
awesome.
Would be a really neat story. But the Institute is the only source, but they've been making synths for a while, and Gen 3 synths have been around for a while. So, there might be some that have survived a long time and have infiltrated, might even be aware at this point that they are synths because they haven't died, or aged much in the last 30, 40 years.
Oh, that's a good indication, right? They age more slowly than humans do, because they would still age because they still have biological material. But do they age more? Okay. We're getting off on a crazy tangent there, but I wanted to bring
we
up
got feedback.
I wanted to bring up just real quick. Dima, I know he's a complex character, but he leaves the synths, or he leaves the Institute with, because of the moral complications and everything, and he sits in a cave for a year, and he's pondering all these moral obligations and all that, but then I just thought when Green Dragon was telling his feedback, found Avery's, skull, and he replaced Avery with another synth. Dima leaves the Institute because of their immoral, replacing things and all that, but then Dima goes and does the same fucking exact thing on Far Harbor by replacing people in Far Harbor. He is the Institute of Far Harbor, even though the Institute is the thing he is revolting against. He turns into the thing that he hates.
Well, but so all you have to do is erase your memory, and then you don't remember. So it never happened.
How convenient.
Good point, Ray. Good point. Oh, awesome. So that was a really good piece of feedback, Green Dragon. Keep up the good work, and we'll hear from you next. I almost said next week, but next time in a couple weeks here. Looking forward to it. We have Jen is also playing along with us. Let's check and see how she's doing.
Hey, Fallout friends, Jen here. I have not made it to Far Harbor yet, but we've been up to a lot, Winter and I. So I thought I would give you a little bit of feedback to let you know what we've been up to. Winter has tried to remain focused, wincing as he ignored the calls for help out east. He had to find his son. His unexpected alliance with Dance helped him do just that, and he found his way into the Institute. Many unexpected things happened as a result of that trip, and in part, he's wishing he'd never gone. Selfishly, he'd rather have remembered Sean as a baby, and for Dance, he could have avoided that awful truth. After the betrayal of the Brotherhood, Dance needed some time to regroup. Seeking new allies, Winter found a group of freedom fighters, synth freedom fighters, that he'd heard about. He'd done a few favors for them and has somewhat earned their trust, but it will take a lot of convincing to make Dance understand their perspective, if he could at all. Dance, as he fights against the Brotherhood, still cries for the Brotherhood as he targets the very vertebrates that he once flew in. Is it a matter of self-loathing? Is it trauma? Winter, being much better with his hands than his words, could only guess. He hasn't come across any decent mental health professionals, and the best thing he can think to do for Dance is to take him on a vacation, away from the Brotherhood so he can find himself. But where does one go on vacation after nuclear annihilation?
Fahaba.
If at least some of the buildings in the Commonwealth are intact and have power, maybe they can take a trip out to the happiest place in the Commonwealth. That should fix him. So, as you might have guessed, we're at the threshold of Nuka World. We just got to Nuka World and are clearing out the doorway. I'm not quite sure what the minimum level is to get in there, but we'll see. I think I'm level 30 at this point. I may be higher. I don't remember. But I've been a little too focused on the main quest and this whole conundrum of being Railroad and romancing Dance has kind of really preoccupied me. So being part Brotherhood or taking advantage of the Brotherhood like a little mooch, I am using Brotherhood Uber, as I call it, using those vertebrate grenades. It's been really, really awesome to just call an Uber and get taken to the glowing sea, because I had to get out there so many times. And I didn't even need my power armor to get out to the glowing sea when I was in Uber. So it was pretty awesome to do. And now that I have Dance with me and all the vertebrates shoot at him, I'm going to miss it very, very much. I have had a problem with Piper in the vertebrates. I don't usually roll with Piper. I also don't usually roll with Dance unless I absolutely have to. But I'm liking both of them this playthrough, except Piper falls out of the vertebrate a lot. She fell out 4 times when I was trying to get to the Pridwin from the airport. I eventually had to send her to the airport so that she wouldn't fall out, so I could go and finish my my quest up there with the jerkface Maxon. So that's been a load of fun. But yeah, it's been a great time playing this playthrough, and I'm looking forward to doing some Nuka World and hopefully staying on task with you all, but I can't make any promises. Winter does as he does. So thanks so much for listening, everybody. Have an amazing couple weeks, and I will look forward to seeing you all in the wasteland.
Jen, you're on the wrong side of the map. You're off there on the west side trying to get into Nuka World. You should be on the east side of the map talking to those Nikanos, whatever they're called. She's trying to get into the happiest place in the Commonwealth. That's hilarious.
You kind of can't blame her. You know, it's we all wish there was a place.
It's for Dance.
So explain that to me. the vertibirds are shooting at Dance, and Dance is saying for the Brotherhood, but still shooting at the vertibirds.
Right.
She's got him as a romance, and the Railroad as her assigned faction, which, that's conflicting right there a little bit in how the game is constructed. Does that mean that she's got full Railroad like compatibility or whatever, and Dance is also maxed out affinity wise, and then she's also played the main quest enough for Dance to realize that he's a synth?
She's right near the end there. Exactly. And Dance's affinity is you. So if Dance is player centric, based on the fact when he's your companion, at least he's player centric, and you are fighting the Brotherhood, he's basically going to fight whoever fights you, just whatever their allegiance.
No matter his affinity level. If he's your follower and you attack Brotherhood, he'll attack them as well. Interesting. That's
I'm
crazy.
not actually certain about the affinity level thing. For instance, if you kill Brotherhood when you're with him, he would talk about that.
Even before he knows he's a synth.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's an experiment. Can you attack Brotherhood when Dance is your companion at that point? Anyway, but once you're max affinity, and he's with you as your companion, he's gonna roll on that.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Jen, you said you're level 30 and you just got to Nuka World. I think that's appropriate. I think the level where you get the first Nuka World radio signal comes at level 30, if I remember right. Somewhere around there. And I love your notion of Wasteland Uber. I've still never done that. The only time I've been in a vertibird, well, the 2 times, is when Maxon tells you to go take out the super mutant behemoth there near Fort Strong, and to get up and down to the Pridwin, you need to take that little vertibird up and down. I've still never done the fast travel via vertibird. How do you get that? What is that about? Is that a mod? That's not a mod, is it?
Sorry, I'm still thinking about the whole Dance thing, because I know you can't turn against the Brotherhood when you have him as a companion, or else he will, get angry with you and he will leave. Or else he'll leave and stop talking to you. So I'm trying to think under what circumstances.
First.
I think you can just have basic skirmishes, like with the ones that spawn out there like that. But you couldn't attack, go against the Brotherhood or destroy them all and have him stay. Odd. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Her Wasteland Uber thing and how you fast travel with vertibirds. When do you get access to that? Because I've just got if I throw the grenades, a party will come assist me. But how do you do the fast travel via vertibird?
I know Silior's been running that as well.
It's
I think it is a mod that gives you the vertibird fast travel.
Oh, that's fun. But she says that she'll lose access to that soon, or just did. Piper falling out, that's hilarious.
Silior says not a mod. As soon as you get access to the Pridwin, you can get them.
Is it? They're not the grenades that you throw to summon.
They're a type of flare grenade. Yep.
A different grenade than the summon the guys to help in a battle, or is that all part of the same mechanics? So I still haven't thrown one of those, so I don't know how it works. Maybe I'll check that out and see how that works. But she said Piper kept falling out of the vertibird. I think that's hilarious. And I'm surprised that you just don't complete the trip and then walk 20 feet and then turn around and Piper's standing behind you. You know what I mean? How followers will zoom to wherever you are and fall out. So.
She does. Yeah, that's funny that Piper's so hyper that she keeps falling out of the vertibird.
Hyper. Falling out of vertibird. Jen, awesome feedback. Looking forward to your continued adventures with Winter. Thanks so much for sending it in. Let's go ahead and check in with Pip-Boy Steve.
Kia ora, everybody. Steve here with my feedback for Zenith. I'm level 80 now and just tearing through stuff. I ended up taking off that Child of Adam outfit and going back to my Minuteman outfit because I really miss the plus speed legs. While I'm at it, I added the plus speed Child of Atom Recon Marine Armor arm, and also the captain's hat that you'd get from doing the captain's dance. So I think I should be at about plus 40% running speed now. I also took all 3 levels of moving target, so my action points only deplete at 50% when running. So now I can run across the Commonwealth like Forrest Gump. I kind of went through most of the Far Harbor, and I'm just waiting on doing the last of the quests there. I tend to just rip through anything I meet. I still do die sometimes because, survival. But Mirelurk Queens and Bohemus are no challenge. I left Far Harbor on the precipice of being destroyed by me and went back to the Commonwealth. I went and met up with Dance and went to the Pridwin. The Brotherhood sure put a lot of faith in a crazy person with Child of Atom paint all over my face. And they sent me to Fort Strong, and when I got back, they offered me flares for summoning vertibirds. I thought,
there
cool. And so I ran out to the Glowing Sea to go meet Virgil for the first time. It sure is convenient to take the vertibird back from there. The closest beds are at Somerville, or Somerville. I went through and got the Corsair, killed the Corsair, and eventually built the teleporter, but with the Minutemen. But I haven't gone to the Institute yet. I decided I'd just get some more XP, and I went and did Vault 88. If nothing else, Vault 88 is a great place to get steel and concrete and XP. But I finished that off and probably won't go back because, why? Right now I'm up by Coastal Cottage and plan on going through the area there, like the Lighthouse and then down Salem and Croup Manor. Basically just racking up more XP, checking out the place. I'm going to be a fucking god when I get to Nuka World. I may challenge myself to only wear Nuka World armor when I get or go there. I have a small collection of Pack, Disciple, and Operator armor I've picked up. And I'm going to do the same for Automatron. I have a small collection of Troubleshooter armor, as long as it doesn't interfere with my running speed. Anyway, that is pretty much what I'm up to. Looking forward to Automatron. It's a favorite DLC of mine. And I'm also looking forward to destroying Far Harbor with Zenith. And by the way, Jess, you really need to get an electric kettle to make hot water. They're good for tea or noodles or anything you need hot or boiling water for. That is my suggestion for the week. All right, thanks everybody, and cheers. Have an amazing day, and I will see you in the wasteland.
Damn, calling you out, Jess.
What's that you say? I didn't hear anything.
All right, what's our opposition?
Was that your microwave going off, Jess?
Yeah.
Did you just make a cup of tea?
Yes, my microwave was censoring the chat. Exactly.
What is our opposition to electric kettles? Because I noticed that's a big deal. Europeans, and Steve now counts as a foreigner since he's lived overseas for so long. They just love to make fun of Americans who have the audacity to microwave water. It's just like, oh my God, how disgusting, so gross. How dare you ever microwave water? That's
the electric
the worst
kettles, the regular kettles. This was a big thing for me last week. One day I decided to go full troll and tease my European friends. I didn't realize how much it would take off, and I just laid right into it. It was a great time.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I deserve to be called out microwaving my tea, I suppose.
Yeah, my roommate in Austria relentlessly mocked me for having, like I said, the audacity to microwave water. He thought that was disgusting, and how dare,
I've heard it for years, and even Ray has an expression of mild distaste on his face. But of course, Ray has coffee rituals. Do you have tea rituals too, Ray?
You have tea rituals, Ray?
No, I drink so little tea.
Do you, oh my God, I just blanked on what it's called. What is the cooking in the hot water bath? What's that process called?
Sous vide.
So do you sous vide your coffee ever?
No.
Doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't get hot enough.
Do you own an electric kettle?
I do, several.
Oh, of course.
I think Ray's a synth.
I have one that you can set the temperature on. Because I like to have my coffee
182 degrees,
just below boiling. Not actually boiling when I make French press coffee.
210.
So I needed
right?
an electric kettle that you could control the temp on.
That's
Just
perfect. But
boiling.
I'm told by a lot of people that it makes a real difference when you use preheated water and put nice piping hot water onto your tea, whether bags or balls, however you make your tea. So I am going to try it for science. I do trust. I mean, many friends, not just Canadian and European and Australian. Apparently, everyone everywhere thinks that that regular hot water tea is better. But but like even Shalene said so. Jen said so.
They're all set.
I mean, you could really solve the issue by not putting your tea bag in until the water's hot.
That is the normal way of doing it, according to most people. I just think, okay, we don't want to cause any controversy on the show, but here is my thought. Okay, if you are microwaving the tea with the bag in the mug while it's in the microwave, and the way microwaves work is they kind of heat things from the inside out, you're actually heating up the tea itself nicely. So you're releasing that flavor. You're softening the tea to let the water permeate better and release the flavor in even in delicious fashion. I made this up to justify my laziness, but it kind of makes sense.
Plus, you're cooking with radiation. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. Prepare for the future.
She's a children of Adam.
Yeah, but no, we're gonna improve the situation. And thank you very much for your feedback, Steve. Even that part.
Yes. Speaking of children of Adam, Steve said he had children of Adam paint on his face. Is that paint? Or is that a tattoo? I always thought those were tattoos. Is that just face paint they're putting on?
I think it's face paint. I mean, it does. If you look at the colors, it does kind of remind me more of like a woad, like that kind of classic Celtic woad kind of deal with the spirals.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it might just be paint.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea. I thought those were
especially
tattoos.
when you look at Devin, because he's got that stuff on his ears.
That makes me just want to lick my thumb and smear Tectus's face. Just smears paint a little bit.
Oh yeah, Tectus, you got a little something right there.
Something on your cheek there, brother. Come here. Steve also mentioned that behemoths are no problem and all that stuff. I actually had an issue. I mentioned flying the vertibird over to do Fort Strong. I did that last week. But they put you in the vertibird and you have the minigun on the vertibird, and you're sitting there taking out everything and I would take out the behemoth, but then the vertibird would land and I couldn't get out of the vertibird. It just kept me on the minigun in there, and I kept shooting things. But eventually I couldn't take out the super mutants fast enough, and they would blow up the vertibird and I would die. I loaded like 4 times there, and I kept dying because they kept blowing up the vertibird. So eventually I took the request from Maxon. Then I told him to fuck off when they told me to get into the vertibird, and I just went down and swam over to Fort Strong, took out all the super mutants and the behemoth with my pistol, which actually does more damage than a minigun at this point. And then after all that was over, it completed and everything was fine. But I could not get that quest to complete by using the minigun because I just don't do enough damage with it yet. It was really frustrating that I had to go through that so many times. That sucked.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Steve, thank you much. I think we have, one more? I think we got one more.
We have 2 more. We've got, Swearlie is up next.
Swirl, and I just have to say, Swirl's voice is extremely sexy in this one.
Oh.
Hello. I wasn't sure I was going to get through the quest for this episode, so I wasn't going to send anything in, but I managed to get it done in the nick of time. Figured I'd send in an email for you guys to read instead of an audio file for you to mess with, and queue up in the hopes that is easier for you. Nuke and I made our way to Nucleus from Far Harbor to infiltrate the children of Adam to lift Dima's memories off their hands. They sent me on a quest to get me out of their face, not necessarily expecting me to come back at all, and certainly not with the mother idol in hand, which I did after like 3 reloads, starting back at Far Harbor, because I still don't know how to save. Made it to the Nucleus and methodically cleared the tunnels to get Dima's memories, saving at one of the bunk beds along the way. Now I have a mod to get around Dima's Blue Nightmare, which puts all tapes in the chest that you can just grab them from. and when I did, my game froze, which consequently pretty much makes my computer entirely useless. So I had to restart it and go through the 2 Assaultrons again. Grabbed the tapes just fine on the second run-through and saved on my way out of the nucleus. After that, I headed back to Far Harbor to stock up on ammo and sort my inventory a little before heading down to the Harbor Grand Hotel, which I did a total of 5 times, getting as far as clearing it and moving on to the Vem Pop Factory, once before dying and starting again because forgetting to save is the bane of my existence. Once I actually got through the hotel and the factory successfully, yes, I did remember to save this time, I was going to clear out Brooks Lighthouse for Cassie Dalton, but one look at my diminished ammo supplies had me turning around and heading for town once again to stop at Alan's storefront. Made my way all the way back down to the lighthouse, saved right beforehead in an abandoned house, and cleared the little settlement of trappers. Nabbed the key from the bathtub up in the lighthouse, which exhibitionist much? I realize it's the top of a lighthouse and all, but it takes one of your goons to come up and BAM! Full face of nudity. Is it supposed to be like a power move? And then use said key to unlock the chest at the bottom of the ocean and one of the fishing nets. After clearing that place, I headed up to dig up the wind farm codes, grabbing the actual launch key along the way, and looping around back to Far Harbor once more. I informed Cassie Dalton of the trapper's demise, and she thanked me and bestowed her family's fishing hook pole heirloom thingy upon me. I not so secretly foisted it upon Valentine to carry, and moved on to Captain Avery. I admittedly did not break the news to her very carefully, but she came around in the end, begged me not to tell Alan, and I said I wouldn't. Now I'm stuck in an endless loop of trying to get Dima to walk into Far Harbor and stand trial. That's about where I've left off. See everyone in the wasteland. Swirl M normal. Sexy voice, Swearlie. Good job. Can you rat out to Alan that Avery is a synth? Is that ever an option?
Yes,
that would be
near
fun.
the end when things come to a head, I think you can, and you find out what's happened. As you'll get in the Way Life Should Be quest, you can rat them out and explain what Dima's done.
Fun.
Mhm.
If I have that option, I'm going to totally do that. Because Alan's a good guy. We all sit here and bash him, what a jerk he is, but turns out he's right in the end.
At least with part of it. I mean,
No.
yeah. Yeah, he's definitely not completely right. And there was a reason. It was self-protection. But, it does do the ends justify the means? And it's a really good question there. I also like how she mentions how it was a quest to kind of, with the children of Adam to get her out of their face. Which is true. I mean, yeah, it is technically a real initiation ritual if you're interested in joining the children of Adam for real. But because they really don't care about people who aren't children of Adam so much, at least especially the zealots, people like the high zealot there. If you don't come back, that's fine because you weren't really children of Adam material to begin with. So yeah, they're just kind of pushing you out the door.
Yeah. Hey, go do this real quick. Yeah, exactly. They don't care if you come back. Very cool. All right. Thank you for the email there, Swirl M Normal, Swearlie. We'll hopefully hear from you next week.
Also, I just want to say finally, 5 times getting to the hotel and the pop factory and all that, yeah, that's dedication. You got to remember to save. I totally feel your pain with crashes, but
yeah, what are you, Will? Come on.
Exactly.
That'll do it for our feedback this week. Thanks everyone for sending in your adventures. We love hearing from you. We couldn't do it without you. So if you are interested in participating in our Roundtable project, you can find our character generator over there at asapodcasting.com and click on the Fallout Feed section. You'll see all of our character generators. You don't even have to play the same game we're playing. Produce yourself your own character and send us in some feedback about what trouble you're getting into. We'd love to hear from you. Send in your 5-minute feedback to thefalloutfeed@gmail.com. and we'd love to play your adventures on the show. Thanks, everyone, for participating. Let's go ahead and move on with the show, see what else we got to get in here tonight. Do you want to do Iguana Bits before we... the game will not take very long. It's a quick little game.
Yeah, we can do some quick Iguana Bits tonight, actually. Let's
Sure.
just get into it, because, we've gone a bit. So I just want to mention Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. A lot of people who are playing Bethesda games these days, they actually have, well, not most of our listeners, let's be honest. You guys have been playing for a long, long time. But now they're available on Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate, whether on PC or Xbox. That is officially getting more expensive as of yesterday. It had been announced, and Game Pass is now $1 more a month, and Game Pass Ultimate is now $2 more a month. So, if you are a subscriber, just be aware.
What extra stuff does Ultimate give you?
Game Pass Ultimate. So Game Pass Ultimate is the service that wraps in both your Xbox Live and your Game Pass together. Plus, it gives you access to both PC and Xbox Game Pass, and of course, Cloud Play. Which one of the things people, and in my opinion, Xbox does not emphasize enough. They talk about how people aren't using cloud as much as they should. Well, that's because you're not selling it that way. People should advertise that you can Game Pass as a way to play any Xbox game or almost any Xbox game in the service on your phone. Because that's what it is. You don't need an Xbox. You don't need a PC. Subscribe to Game Pass, whip out your phone, log in. You are playing Xbox games on your phone, never having touched an Xbox in your life.
Wow.
I
didn't realize that.
Yeah. And well, they don't advertise it. So people think about it with the remote play and the cloud, like checking in with your 76 dailies. But you can absolutely do it if it's cloud enabled without even owning an Xbox. So just something I want to point out. Anyway, it is now up to, if it was 15, it's now up to 17 a month for Ultimate and 11. But they haven't raised prices in a long time. We knew it was coming at some point. But yeah, it is now just in time for Starfield. So,
Why not? They're about to get a big influx of Game Passers, I bet.
Also, we did get real PTS notes. So, of course, we were talking last week, and Ray was looking for us about the things that actually updated in the PTS, and we discovered some of them. Things like the special donation box and
I
the
did
leveling
find the
systems.
donation box.
Did you?
It's
Right there?
big and red. there's an arrow on the ground pointing to it.
You were focused. You were just really focused. I didn't want to be like, how did you miss it? But yeah, exactly. Sometimes you zig when you could have zagged. That's
Hilarious.
all. But taking a quick look at the actual PTS notes, I'm just going to mention a few things that were updated. Of course, there are more things to it, but there are now level 10 versions of T45 and Raider Power Armor, so you get Power Armor earlier. There is a new filter. So people don't usually use the actual perk card filters. Like they tend to, when you look at perks, just go, special by special, strength, perception, all that. But you can technically look at level 2, level 3, all that stuff. There's now a new filter to see your new cards. All the workbench lists, like I had mentioned that you can now see what you need to do in order to learn plans. But additionally, they sort alphabetically now. So finding things in the list, it's all alphabetical. And that includes like all the Atom Shop stuff and everything you bought that's all out of order. They've got that fixed. Item names are standardized. And yeah, the unlearned recipes will show the name of the plane you need, what item to scrap, or, that you can buy from a store. Additionally, here is a great thing. So this is something I did not know at all until these notes came out. They have renamed and sorted over 600 camp items. This thing Jess has been waiting for, wishing for, wanting for them to improve the menu. Now, I don't know all the menu changes and if there are many at all, but they have renamed over 600 camp items in a more standardized format, which means they probably also grouped them more logically. So once I can get into the PTS and see the actual build mode, yeah, this is really enticing me. I mean, this is exciting. So we will see.
Are there still going to be 6,000 items in the floor decoration category?
Yeah, 558 when I last counted before this update. So what would it be about now? Like about 580?
Jesus.
Yeah. There's a lot of them. Another thing they did, lower frequency of attacks on your player's camp. So you know how every time someone loads in by your camp, it gets attacked, and you're there trying to build, and you keep getting attacked. They're going to fix that. Also, really funny one. You know how you can build bone charms in your camp, like the kind that the raiders have? That detect when people come through. They make little, like little chime noise. Sorry, I call them bone charms. They're bone chimes.
Mm-hmm. bone
You can no
charms.
longer disable them and and disarm them and steal them from someone else's camp. So that is cool. And there's just a number of other little things, bug fixes and improvements. There was one other that I was really excited about. Oh, Ray, for you, the carnivore mutation now works with the cannibal perk, which, I mean, I don't know what that would necessarily mean, right? Because carnivore mutation doubles effectiveness, but what do you get from eating people besides a deep and abiding satisfaction?
Cured hunger.
Well, I mean, it still works. It still works for, because now when you're full, you get some bonus. It's not just the survival part of it.
Right. Yeah.
So
okay,
you would still get the bonus. You just have to eat fewer ghouls to get, fully fed.
So you'll fill up faster, but it's not like you're getting a bonus to endurance for eating people.
No. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool beans. And that's pretty much it. There's a lot of little things, but nothing else I, need to necessarily mention. But there is more than we knew about, and the stuff with camps, that's pretty exciting. Oh, did I mention the legendary? I think I did last week, but if I didn't, legendary creatures no longer mutate and pop up when you get down to 50% with their health.
What?
Yeah, maybe I didn't mention last week. This is a thing, but they've added it into the base health bar. So they have the same amount of health, but legendary enemies will just have 50% more health than their average enemy, but it will go down steadily.
Oh, so they don't have time and a half.
Exactly.
Anymore. Okay. They still have time and a half. They just don't. Okay.
It's not the visual thing where you get down to 50%, pops back up. And I think the reason for that is because you can damage them 90% and then it will pop all the way back up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Instead of being a set amount. And this is going to make it more fair so that if they have 150% of the standard creature, but your damage will actually register.
I actually noticed that, and that changed my VATS, how I deploy my critical hits, because I wouldn't. When it was getting down to the first half, I wouldn't use my crit until it regenerated, and then I use my crit because that's exactly like you were saying. It would go down to 90%, and then they'd regenerate back up to 100, and that'd be a waste of points. So yeah, I'm kind of glad they're doing that. Combat
in Morgantown and Somerville has been rebalanced. Probably make it a little bit easier, but just so you know. And Ray, this is ominous. So I hadn't actually read this before. The bugs have been exterminated, i.e. the ticks that we noticed weren't there. Okay, they're gone, and there are more robots. But it says, and mysterious construction has begun at Gilman Lumber Mill. Okay.
They got 38 Protectron robots over there.
The extra robots are maybe building something. I hadn't noticed that. That is neat.
Yeah, it could be. They just hadn't gotten very far when I got there.
Mm-hmm. So that is it for the extra PTS notes. Last thing I want to mention is Invaders from Beyond has started now. That is hip hop happening.
It'll be done on Tuesday, right? It's only a week, right?
It's only going to the 10th. So is that Tuesday? Oh, that's Monday. Yeah, through the 10th. Monday. So yeah, it'll be gone on Tuesday. Yeah, we've just got a week of the Invaders.
Yeah, I thought they usually give us 2 weeks of that.
A lot of the events we've had 2 weeks from, but I feel like Aliens every time has only been 1 week. So this is standard for it. We've only had Aliens twice before. People talk about having it a lot, but I mean, we got it when it first launched, last March or April, and then again, when Meat Week failed, and maybe one time in between, but I don't remember another. So nothing major coming up to mention this month, except for the Summer Camp Challenge event starting on July 25th, and we do not know what that is yet.
Summer Camp. Oh, come on. Pioneer Scouts, something with that, please.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the iguana bits there, Jess. Good to know. Let's squeeze in a quick edition of...
What time is it? Game time!
And we've got a couple of folks in our live chat tonight. If you would like to be eligible to win a prize live on the show, please join our Discord and join our active group of folks who are listening to our live show. Tonight in the chat, we've got Archon and Clint and Lee and Cosmo and Ray is in there. Oh, Ray, you want to win? Solior, Mr. Sullivan, and Swear I'm Normal. So tonight... I think a lot of these people have already won prizes. We're going to have Mr. Sullivan be one of our participants, and also Cosmo. So we will let you get Jess. Who do you want to play for, Mr. Sullivan or Cosmo? What do you think?
I'll play for Sullivan.
All right, Sullivan and Ray, you'll deal with Cosmo here. So you guys get your cheerleader pom poms out, and let's play a riveting edition of. What time is it? Game time. Tonight on Game Time, we are playing Oppenheimer time. With the new movie Oppenheimer coming out here in a week or two, I've started to see previews for it all over the place. We went to see the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. And if you haven't seen the Spider-Verse movies, the first one is really good and enjoyable, but the second one, the animation style is just fucking mind-blowing. If you're into animated movies and you haven't seen that one yet, get on it immediately because it just really is mind-blowing. Besides the content of the movie, which is quite enjoyable, just the style of the animation is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. It is amazing. So when I saw that movie, the first time I saw a preview for Oppenheimer, and I'm like, holy shit, this looks fucking awesome. And of course, without Oppenheimer, we wouldn't have the ability to have these Fallout games. So we're going to play a little Oppenheimer time. And all I'm going to do, Ray and Jess, I just want you to buzz in with your names. I'm just going to ask some simple trivia questions revolving around Oppenheimer.
Oh,
so let's see how much you guys know about the development of these atomic weapons. So, first to buzz in with your name. Please tell me the first name of Mr. Oppenheimer. Either of you know?
Let's go with Douglas. Jess.
So close, Jess. Ray, do you have a guess?
John Jacob.
John Jacob, yes, exactly. Sorry, no. We have J. Robert, and J stands for Julius. So Julius Robert Oppenheimer. And I incorrectly thought that he was one of the German scientists that we recruited away from the Nazis. He was an American-born.
Oh, no.
He was an American-born guy. I always thought with the name Oppenheimer, that sounds fucking German AF. So I just assumed he was a German guy. But nope, he was born in America. He did study physics in Germany at the Goethe Institute.
Archon remembered it was Robert, actually, in chat. He put that there. As soon as he said it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I've seen Robert Oppenheimer, but not something I'd remember.
Yep, J. Robert Oppenheimer. Okay. Second question. During the World War II operations, Oppenheimer was recruited to work in this program, which developed the first nuclear weapons. Do you know the name of the program he worked for? Jess.
The Manhattan Project?
Absolutely, the Manhattan Project. Good job, Jess. Next question. In 1943, Oppenheimer was appointed head of the Los Alamos Laboratory in this U.S. state.
Ray. New Mexico.
New Mexico. Los Alamos, New Mexico. Good job, Ray. I had a girlfriend in high school whose dad worked on the particle accelerator at the Los Alamos Laboratory, and I went and visited her, and I got to go into that building. It's pretty fucking crazy. I couldn't go in deep into the building because, I didn't have clearance. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty fucking cool place. Okay, next question. After observing the Trinity test, these words from Hindu scripture were brought to Oppenheimer's mind.
Jess. I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
Absolutely nailed it. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Such a fucking cool passage. Good job, Jess. Next question. The only time nuclear weapons have been deployed in war was in 1945 on these two Japanese cities.
Ray. Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Absolutely, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Last question. These two bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Jess. Fat Man and Little Boy.
And bonus points. Which bomb was dropped on which cities?
Oh, I feel like I do know this. I think it was Little Boy on Hiroshima and Fat Man on Nagasaki. Like the opposite of what people thought.
Little Boy was on Hiroshima and Fat Man was on Nagasaki. Further bonus points. Which one was uranium-based? Which one was plutonium-based?
I think this is a trick question, don't you, Ray? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just like, it feels like a trick question to me because I feel like he didn't like create that many different formulas. So I'm going to go with they were both uranium based.
Ray, do you have a guess?
I'm going to go Fat Man was uranium and little boy was plutonium.
Vice versa. Sorry, guys. You didn't get the double bonus double dip there. All right, let's count up our points here. Jess, 2, 3 for Jess, and Ray got the 1. So Jess, congratulations, you are the winner, which means Mr. Sullivan, you need to contact us at the falloutfeed@gmail.com. Send us your address, and I will ship off a prize pack to you in the mail. Again, if you'd like to participate and be a participant in Game Time, please join our Discord and listen to us live and chat with all these other awesome folks who show up to hang out and listen to us live.
Thank you for that one, Andrew. I'm glad the first question was the hardest. Like, Ray and I knew all the rest.
Yeah, I thought that. See, I knew that one would be hard, but I try to keep it pretty basic for the rest of them there. But anyway, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I am super fucking excited about the Oppenheimer movie just because, I'm super into Chernobyl. I think that is one of the great accomplishments of American television production. Just that short miniseries is one of my absolute favorite things that's ever been made, and I love the recent one on Netflix that covers the Japanese. I forget the Fukushima one that's called Days on Netflix. That one was also really, really cool. It could have been an episode or two shorter, I think. They could have kind of compressed it a little bit more, but it was also extremely enjoyable. So I just really like my nuclear disaster movies and TV shows. So I'm looking forward to seeing this, one of the origins of where all of this technology comes from, this Dr. Oppenheimer. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's made by Chris Nolan, I think, who did all those Batman movies that I liked so much. So really excited to see it. All right, you guys. Anything else we need to cover tonight before signing off? In that case, I'd just like to, I know it isn't the most recent of events, but I just wanted to send out condolences to Lee, who just returned from a trip. So, Lee, welcome back home. Glad you're home safe, and condolences for your loss, sir. But we will go ahead and use this opportunity to sign off for the evening. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on. You can find her over there on the Twitter's is in steep demise. I don't even know if we need to keep plugging Twitter anymore. It's about to disappear, I think.
It's going to be a slow decline, although it may eventually hit critical mass. But I would actually like to sign off tonight in the form of a poem that I totally didn't write during Will's feedback.
Oh, great. Let's hear it.
There once was a child named Tectus who lived in the atomic nexus. He said, "Join our cause or face Adam's laws." So I shot him in the solar plexus.
Very beautiful. You can find her on Threads at Jess on Threads.
I'm at Sleep is for Tea on Blue Sky and Twitter, and yeah, probably Threads soon too, like everybody and their mom, which may be the issue because everybody's moms are going to be on Threads, and who knows what's going to happen. We'll find out.
Oh, goodness sakes. Oh, she's also at You Wastelanders and at Dames Who Game. So check out Sleep is for Tea. Thanks so much, Jess.
You.
Ray can be found at RayLB, and if you'd like to check out his No Man's Sky show, please check out at BBCISSS, which stands for The Butcher, Baker, and Candlemaker in Space. Ray, thanks so much.
Good times.
I can be found at Indie Android. The show is at The Fallout Feed. I would like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Bags or balls.
I thought I heard some noises and whispering.
Cling, cling, cling.
Discovered beaver.
Type situation. Fire in the hole and really crammed in.
Bam! Full face of nudity.
He erupted.
Nutritional food paste.
Nice.
Kind of red as a stick.
Foreplay. That woman, she mowed me down.
So now I can run across the Commonwealth like Forrest Gump.
Like a little mooch.
Let's just take everyone out. Let's just kill everyone.
Is there something wrong with my backside?
I'm a doctor, not a commando.
Pretend to join the cult.